What's going on, man? What's going on? It's good to be back. I'm
Yes,
Ray
yes,
True Life
indeed.
as always, and that person over there with the hat and the shirt on is Chevalier.
I'm not that bald head bastard this week.
Nah, you got a hat on, so I
No,
can't call
no,
you that bald head bastard
you
today.
you skipped a week
That
last week.
bald head bastard
There
is
we go. There
Chevalier.
we go. What's going on?
Chevalier life.
Yeah, that's what they say. It's your value life.
Oh man. What's
Welcome
been
back
going
to the
on with
lounge, man. We're just chilling, man. Look, spent the whole weekend with you and my Keisha here in Dallas, and it was a great time, man. Hey, look, let's just start the show out with it. My Keisha Watson graduated from college this weekend, man, and it was an amazing thing.
She graduated with summa cum laude honors.
Man, you
Got to
got some
put it all
applause
out.
on there. You got some applause on the control board. Let me say it again. Keisha Watson graduated summa cum laude. There it is.
Got
Congratulations,
some
Keisha
applause.
Watson. That's her first name is Keisha Watson. That's
That's
her
the
first.
first name forever. That's her first name forever.
At least for
Um,
me.
man, it was a great weekend, eventful weekend. She got to graduate, and me and I had the people in the section sitting around me, all cheering for her. She said she was walking across the stage and said, "Who is all them people?"
Hey, that's how you got to do that, man. You adapt and overcome, man. You was all over that. You found some people. I wish we could have been there. I had to work. My wife was in Houston, but we made it up. We made it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, you did. Appreciate y'all for that, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
y'all.
It was a great time. We got to spend that time that we always do, and it meant a lot to us for sure.
It meant a lot to us.
Oh yeah, no
I
doubt,
know it.
man.
I know it meant a lot to her.
Yeah, I saw them flowers that she sent yesterday. I didn't even tell Felicia wasn't here when they came in,
Oh, okay.
and so I waited till she got home. She had been sipping on them drinks over there at True Lux, man. She came in. She came in talking, "Oh, you got me flowers." I was like, "I wish I could take the credit for that." Hell no. Like Keisha Watson got us some flowers, which means she got you some flowers.
Man, you sipping already. We got to get into this toast. So it's on you.
Yeah, toast is on me. I'm sipping from my lounge glass. Got
As
our
am I.
yes,
Well, it's
sir.
not a glass. It's a stainless steel whiskey cup. I
Right
guess
on.
that's what I'm call.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it. So here's the toast, man. I would raise a glass to us. We skipped a week last week. We back, and I also want to raise a glass to my Keisha Watson, to our girl Kia McLean, the poet who had a birthday on Sunday that we all celebrated her, and man, just to the relationships and the bonds that we've formed because of the cigar culture, man. Cheers.
Cheers.
I've been on these margaritas for about the last 2 hours, man, because I was grilling chicken out.
Oh, you was grilling chicken.
Yeah, man, I grilled some skirt steak and chicken. We made chicken fajitas, man. We made some chicken fajitas.
It was already seasoned,
No, Felicia season. I don't do that.
but you grilled it,
I grilled it,
and
but
it
I
was
didn't.
edible.
It was quite edible. If you was here right now, you'd eat the whole pan because
I
that's
don't
what
think. I don't know. I don't know if I
you'd eat.
trust you on the grill.
You'd eat the whole pan.
I don't know if I trust you on the grill though.
You'd
That's
eat the
all.
meat and the pan. You'd eat the meat and the pan.
I don't know if I trust you on that grill though, man.
Nah, trust me,
I
man.
just,
Trust me, man. I'm vicious on the charcoal grill.
yeah. We'll see, man. You should have grilled something when we was out there.
We didn't have time, man. We was too busy moving around. Think
Yeah,
about it. We
it
didn't even
was.
have enough time, man. We owe shout out to Steve from Mulan Labe. He was in
Yeah,
town.
yeah, yeah. We
And
didn't
we
even get a
supposed to
chance
meet
to
up with
link up with
Steve,
him.
man. Yeah, we didn't get a chance. To Steve, we're sorry about that, man. I saw his messages the other day, and I need to give him a call and holler at him, man. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
man.
about it, man. It was awesome this weekend, man. Just was a great time to celebrate fellowship, and that's what we did. Hey, Grandma Juicy had a birthday.
She did.
Alicia
She did.
Alicia Williams had a birthday yesterday, and Felicia and her celebrated it. So shout out to Grandma Juicy. That's my affectionate name for her, but y'all don't ask me how she got that. I don't know either. I know what I heard. but her you know, Alicia Williams.
Happy birthday to her.
Happy
we're not
birthday.
going. We're not going to talk about that too much. Hey man, you got anything you want to get off your chest?
Fuck no.
No.
No. Yeah, actually I do.
I'm surprised.
No, I got something I want to get off my chest. It
All
just
right.
came back. So I want to express my frustration. And maybe it doesn't look like I'm frustrated, but I really are at for
I'm
the
really are. You mean
I
I
really
really am.
am. I really am
Hmm.
for the acquittal of the three police officers that killed Tyree Nichols. With all the evidence, all the videos that they seen, knowing why they did it, had nothing to do with a traffic stop. It had nothing. It was all personal. One of the guys, Tyree, was messing with his ex girl, and he wanted his girl back, and so, he got a couple other cops, and they pulled the kid over, man, and beat him up and killed him. That's the short of it. And for me, this is the I don't want to say it's the perfect case to state my point, but they talk about the police. They acquitted these three guys, right? I'm assuming they acquitted them because they're police officers. That's the only reason I could think, because they had all the evidence in the world as to why they really did.
Hmm.
And so, man, here is another young person lost, man, at the hands of the police. And it was really frustrating for me to see that, man. And it kind of waters down some of the other issues that we have, like driving while black. Well, people are getting killed, uh, for no reason. They're standing there with their hands up, or they're getting shot just because they're sitting in the car and they think they move too fast. It kind of waters that issue down. And I was talking about this at work today, and people like, I think that's a reach. I said, well, you think it's a reach because it doesn't happen in your community. But it happens in my community all the time. And when I say my community, I don't mean in the city of Horny or necessarily in the city of Dallas, but in the black community. So I look a lot deeper into that acquittal than what some people would, because I think what they were thinking was, well, we just acquitted three black officers. At the end of the day, what happened was wrong. And that young man, he's not a kid, but that young man lost his life due due to someone using their power, using their influence with the bad to exact revenge on somebody, and it was just really sad. I don't care if they were black, white, blue, or green, they were wrong.
Right.
Just as I wouldn't care if it was a black cop or a white cop that shot somebody. If they shot somebody and it wasn't a justified shoot, they wrong. Now I back the blue. I really do. I really do, man. I believe that they have a horrible job, but it was just really disheartening for me to see that. And then for me to read so much more into it, it was really disheartening, man. It pissed me off, to be honest.
Yeah. As it should, man. As it should. Um, it's it's a sad reality that we live in where we have to constantly go through this. We have to constantly deal with this, and then people just really don't understand the whole of it. You know,
Right.
um, like you said, and I mirror all of that, man. Like you said, it's just it doesn't matter what color they are. It's the fact that it happened again.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it happened again. Um, so that was a great get it off your chest moment, one that we definitely needed. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah. What's up, Mount Olympus? I see Mount Olympus is in there. Bruno Lyons, my wife, is in there. Welcome all of you guys to the lounge, man. Ray, and I'm gonna get right into it. Well, even before we get into the topic, man. Ray, let me ask you something.
what you got?
Let me ask you something, man. When you sit down, I was thinking about this, and I didn't get to ask you about it when you were here, because we didn't get a lot of moments where we really had a chance to talk. We were riding around in the truck and shit, and we stopped at Harvey B's and got us some burgers. I think I wowed you with the burger. You and Kingpin. What
Yeah,
you
them
call it?
burgers was pretty good. Bryson
Yeah.
waddled his big behind from El Jefe
Oh,
way over
yes,
there.
he did. Yes, he
It
did.
took him
Rose
two and
City
a half
Cigar
business
Soul.
days to get there.
Yeah, Rose City Cigar Soul just joined us. Welcome to the lounge, Rose City
Welcome to
Cigar
the
Soul.
lounge. Welcome to the lounge.
If you guys don't know them, I'm an ambassador for Rose City Cigar Soul Festival, which is taking place July 10th through the 13th in Portland, Oregon. Visit Rose City Cigar and Soul.com. Get you some tickets. Come on out there. Look, this is gonna be a great time. This is gonna be a great time, man. It's a different kind of vibe out there on the West Coast. So, I saw her in here. I thought I threw a shameless plug for her, but
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
You an
yeah.
ambassador. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I was trying to get them. I wanted them to come on the show tonight. I wanted them to come on if they could. Erica, if you're out there, who's ever with Rose City Cigar and Soul, you get a chance, send a message to us. We'll send you the link. Maybe a little later in the show, you can come on and join the conversation and talk to us a little bit about Rose City Cigar and Soul Festival and what you guys are trying to do. But like I said, man, we didn't get a chance to really talk. Uh, because there's a lot of things I wanted to ask you about, how it feels watching your wife graduate. How do you, I remember when my wife graduated and was watching her, and I felt like, man, I still got a lot I need to accomplish. I started like self evaluating myself, man. And so I wanted to ask you about that. Like when you watch Keisha Watson walk across the stage, man, what did that feel like for you? Like outside of being excited for her, what kind of feelings did you find yourself like critiquing yourself and saying you should be further along than what you are?
Man, outside of being extremely proud of her and excited to be there to witness that, knowing all of the work that she put in going into that, um, I I started to I started to feel that way, um, but it went away very quickly. You know, um,
Yeah,
yeah, the self evaluation is definitely there. Um, Knowing that you know there are still things that I would like to accomplish. It didn't uh what's the word I'm looking for? It didn't like change anything about how I was moving or how I felt I needed to move. It was basically just me understanding that understanding and being inspired that I can do it. I can definitely do this. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
All of the because I'm not going back to school. That's
I thought
that was never a question. I ain't going back to school. It's not that's not something that I look to do. But um, it did let me it did inspire me to continue to go,
yeah,
to keep going, to keep moving, to keep pushing. Um, because knowing all of the hard work that she put into that, um, and to see that, get to that point, it's like, okay, I just got to keep pushing. I got to keep moving. I'll get to my graduation, if you will.
yeah. I kind of, I wasn't there with her, but I remember the feeling when my wife did it some years ago. And I felt like, man, I've been in the Marine Corps and I've done all these things. And I felt like, man, this is one more notch that I need to put on my belt. You know what I'm saying? What's
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
DJ?
It was good, people. How we doing?
All right, I like that shirt, man.
Hey, man. Look, sometimes subliminal message is everything.
Shit, that ain't even subliminal. That's right in your face.
Right? Yeah. It is.
It
Man.
say, but you see it say fuck love you.
Hey, fuck
Just
you,
in
love
case
you. You said, well, look,
I either fuck you, I love
look, it's whatever one you want.
you.
Right.
Look, matter of fact, you choose.
Yeah, right on, right on. What's been up, man? We just talking about accomplishments and stuff. I asked Ray. They were here this weekend, and we kicked it all weekend. And I asked him, man, how did you feel when Keisha Watson walked across the floor? Did you feel like there was more for you to do? Did you start critiquing yourself? I think your daughter's about to graduate.
She did
DJ.
already.
She did it. She did
Yeah,
it.
she did. She did Thursday.
Indiana,
Congratulations
right?
to her. Congratulations to
Congratulations
her.
to her,
Yeah,
man.
graduated honors, cum laude. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So
It's a bunch of smart people around here.
Yeah, it
the,
is.
she set out for a goal, and she achieved her goal, and she had support all throughout the way. So like I couldn't, even express, how proud I am of her accomplishing her goals and going into this next chapter.
It's amazing feeling, man. Did you find yourself looking back on your life, man, as you watched her walk across that stage? Did you find yourself like either looking back on your life or critiquing yourself and saying, "Man, I could have done more at this age"? Did you do that or
I'm
no?
I'm not saying I reflected back on if I could have done more. It was almost a split moment because when I saw her cross the stage, I remember back in 2017 where I walked across that same stage.
Hmm.
With my mom, my sister and some friends watching me, graduate with honors. And so I think for me, she took that as like, look, that's a personal goal. I want to do what my dad did,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
in reality, uh, graduating with honors wasn't a goal for me. It was the fact that I was doing it with a strict 9 to 5 because I was still doing military service. So I was
Oh, wow.
working 12, 14-hour days and still having to do schoolwork and everything else and still deal with my, older and younger sailors issues that we dealt with
Right.
uh, suicides, DUIs, domestic violence. Like I had a lot of sailors going through, some things at that same time. Um, so when I walk across the stage, I dedicated that shit to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they inspired me, made me a better person to say, hey, let me achieve some goals so I can, instill some knowledge on them and help them navigate, these crazy waters as we see today in life. Like it's the things that I think, we take for granted. Time is I think a huge factor that we
Right.
take for granted that we don't think about. Hey, the relationships we have with the brothers, the sisters, family. We don't even pay homage to a lot of that shit because at the end of the day, that shit could be gone, and
Yeah.
that time that you thought you had is now wasted.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I agree with you there, man. I I find myself looking back a lot. I find myself looking back a lot. There was a lot of things that I felt like I wanted to do or I could accomplish that
Mm-hmm.
I did not do them because I couldn't do it. I just I don't know if I didn't feel like I wanted to put the effort in or it just didn't feel right to me at the time. And now when I sit back and I see all these things happen, I was like, shit, I could have done that easily. I should have done that. But
Right,
then,
but
you know, on the flip side, DJ, you're gonna be able to relate to this. But then I look at my journey in the Marine Corps and where it's putting me. And then I'd be like, I got a whole lot of friends that got a whole lot of paperwork behind their name and certifications that ain't lived the life I've lived.
no, no, you're probably absolutely right. I know some people that's got many accolades in the military service, but in life, and that's what I have to look at in life. Some of them are gone.
Yeah,
Burdens weighed heavy on them. PTSD weighed heavy on them, and medical weighed heavy on them. So it's a lot to, when we think about our military service. But I don't want to overshadow that with, in today's society that people see shit that they too get the PTSD from it whether or not it's a shooting, uh, someone committing suicide and being a witness to it, um, cops raiding somebody's house. Like a lot of that shit is real, and that shit affects them in the same manner that it would affect anyone in the armed forces or in the first responders. I think a lot of times people don't seek the necessary help. They don't seek the counseling. I got a young individual I'm trying to talk with now that wanted to cross that bridge, and I'm like, bro, like you got kids, you got a son, two daughters, like and I don't want to use it as a cop out to say, hey, this is the easy method to jump ship and spare your children and everything like that. But I think sometimes we forget that our kids look at us in a manner that says, you know what,
Right.
my dad or my mom, they I know that they have gone through so much adversity, but look at the tenacity that they still have to conquer the demons that they deal with and still move forward in life.
Yeah, it's true, man. I think about that a lot. And, our oldest boy graduated a couple of years from college. Our third oldest just graduated from junior college in
Right,
Iowa. And he's coming here to, it was a 2-year college. He had a D2 scholarship in basketball.
Get it out. Get it out. Get it out.
I got to breathe it out. But he's coming home to go to school locally at one of the local colleges here in Texas, and I'm excited for him, man. He was the one that I didn't think would do it, and so even then, man, when he didn't walk or anything, he took his last test today, so he's probably on the road now, leaving Iowa, because he said
right,
he was out of there as soon as he took his test. But he said, shit, they can send me my paper in the mail. Yeah, I'm out.
Hmm.
But and I get it. But even then today, I was thinking about that and I found myself saying, man, what could I have been had I done this? So what could I, and I live a good life, but like what could I have been? What could I have achieved? What I've always wondered what would it have looked like had I went another route. Maybe if I joined a fraternity. You
right,
know, I don't think I'm that dude, but had I done something like that, what would it look like? What would I be? Would I be a Q? Would I be a Kappa? I don't
right,
know.
right.
Those are kind of things, where I found myself evaluating. That's why I asked the question, which kind of leads us into Ray's topic that he put out for us tonight. Ray, go ahead and hit that for us.
So the topic today, the power of reinvention, right? Reinventing yourselves and looking at your life and evaluating it and moving in a different direction to achieve the goals um, that you want to achieve. You
Right.
know, um, like even with Chevalier's earlier question, you know, I think I that moment was, man, what if I would have stayed in school? You know what I'm saying? What if I would have graduated? What would my life look like now? It wouldn't look like what it is. So I don't, and that was like, I don't care anymore.
You don't know.
You know what I'm saying? I, my life would not look like what it is now. So I'm like, I don't care about that no more. You know, but
Right.
the beginning, right, is important. And we change often. Our views change often. So my first question, I guess, would be, what belief did you have 5 years ago that you no longer believe today?
Mm.
That's a good question, Ray. My belief 5 years ago was that I'm limited in the things that I can achieve because of my lack of education.
Hmm.
And today, that has changed. It started changing. I did a pivot in 2021 and started Chevalier Life. And when I did that, I didn't realize that it would become what it has become for me. You know, it's a big deal for me. It may not be a big deal for everybody, you know, but it's a big deal for me because it was the first real thing that I did on my own, you know, and everything that happened was based on the amount of effort that I put into it, and I could see that. So it was a big fucking deal for me, and I found myself. I learned what reinvention was,
Yeah.
in the you know, and so it would definitely be, to answer your question, you know, feeling 5 years ago that there was nothing really special, and that you know, I felt like I let myself down by not furthering my education and doing like a lot of my friends and going to historically black colleges and pledging and becoming a part of all of this stuff. But that was never me. You know, I was never the guy that rolled with the crowd. And so, you know, being able to start that in 2021, man, and for it to turn into everything that it's the whole reason that I'm sitting here with two of my favorite people. You know, it you know, I learned a lot about myself and was able to learn the uh, the empowerment in reinventing myself.
Hmm. What you got, DJ?
I think at times we forget change is necessary. Um, I think a lot of times we do have slight changes through and through, and sometimes we don't even recognize those changes until someone brings it up to us. We might move a little different. We might accept some more responsibilities in the job. Uh, like I think back in the past year, and I think about when I first met you guys back in 2021 on this platform, meeting you guys in 2023, and then you know, hell, we're all talking about uh, you, running for you know a
Mhm.
position, in this city. Um, that's change. That's something he probably at the time didn't think he was going to do. Um, no different than either one of us thinking about, hey, us starting a business, us going into uh, entrepreneurship, us seeking out Pacific network for people to broaden our not only our horizons but the people around us to uh, influence more of the cigar culture or just the mental health and mentorship that us as men can offer one another when they have these special times and needs. um it's always as we say with Darwin, it's evolution. Like you're gonna have to change to the things that are affecting you internally and externally.
Right.
You're gonna have to adapt and overcome to the many storms that life throws in your way.
Definitely. Definitely.
Real talk.
I
I,
mean,
I Go
for
ahead, Ray.
me, I think that a belief I had 5 years ago, I no longer believe today is I can't. That's simple. I can't. I don't believe that I can't anymore. I can do anything I want to do. You know, it may take more work than I thought in the beginning, but I can do whatever it is that I want to do, and that comes from me realizing that we are probably, for the most part, two people removed from someone who wants to help us and who can change our lives.
That's true.
We have to understand our our connections, right? We have to understand what our connections with people. Um, the more we stay in our own bubble, the less we realize just how connected we are. to people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's one of the things that has changed me, and it's changed the way that I move, man. It's changed the way that I think. It's changed the way that I do things. It's changed the way that I interact with other people. You know, understanding that because I interact with you in a certain way, you might never, you know, I mean, you might be the person that I need in order to get what I want. You might be able to connect me to somebody who can help me to change my life. Um, uh, I need to I need to talk of this comment. So Mr. Ray 1323 earlier made a comment to all cigar reviewers, and he said, "Y'all go away." I said, "No, this is not a cigar review, by the way, sir. But I'm still going to review my cigar."
No, it's not Mr. Ray. This is the lounge, man. This is the lounge.
He know
Ray,
what it is. I'm just letting
I
him know
know
what
he
it is.
talking shit. It's okay. We have conversations over cigars, man. We have moments over cigars. Ray, I got a question for you though.
I got an answer for you.
Based on kind of what you're talking about, I like what we're talking about. We're talking about intentional growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of, and I ask you guys both. What are some of the tools and practices that y'all use as you go start moving in the intentional growth? You know, really pursuing the pivot. You know, what are some of the tools like? You know, there's some things like reflection or even therapy, journaling. You know, what are some of the tools that y'all use when you start being intentional about your growth?
Mm. Before Ray even talks, I think this is a piggyback from some conversations we had some years ago.
You
I
right
still
about
I
that.
still journal. I still journal to this day. And I often go back to the journals that I've written, looked at things that I may not have accomplished as I thought about it, and written it out loud to myself. But again, I think it's a lot to do with also the people I deal with, the connections, finding people that are elevated more so above me to force me to pivot in particular manners, whether it's in business, my personal growth, sitting down. I know a lot of times we shun in certain conversations when it comes to politics and religion, but I think a lot of people nowadays are more focused on a lot of the religious aspects, less than the political. Making sure that you have the Almighty in your life, concentrating on those goals, making sure things are aligned with your particular vision. And as we move forward, and sometimes that also affects the connections that we have with people. Is, hey, you know what? You no longer are aligned in my personal growth. That's not to say, hey, I dismiss you as a friend. I dismiss you as, a coworker or whatnot. But there's just, my time has to be well invested. And
You sound
so,
like Kia. You sound like Kia McLean, the poet, releasing folks. You know,
and,
we
and
make
it,
Driving down the tollway,
but
I have done
I
a
have done a
thing.
thing.
but
Go ahead.
but here's the thing: it's not necessarily that you're releasing folks. You can still have connections with these people. However, it is your alignment to them is not the same. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Your
yeah.
conversations with
It
them aren't
changes.
the same. A lot of that shit has changed.
Well,
Um,
you start to treat people accordingly. You
right.
know.
Right.
You do.
Right.
You put people in particular brackets that they fit. Hey, that this is a person I could talk to, for shits and giggles. But hey, quiet as it's kept, I have a handful of people that I'm going to talk to about my spiritual journey. There's people I'm going to talk to specifically about my business journey, and then there's some people I'm going to talk to about personal growth. Do some fit all those categories? Sure, but not everybody's going to fit that, and you got to place those people accordingly, because a lot of these people might have been long friends, but again, in life, we forget, we tend to outgrow things, just like we outgrow clothes, shoes. We think about the things that we put in our bodies that may not be well for us. We start filtering things out, and a lot of times, hey, it's not to say, hey, fuck you, but it's like, hey, I need to look out for me.
Right.
More so.
I think it's that evolution, man. It's the evolution, in recognizing the role of evolution in our lives, recognizing the pivot. It goes back to that same thing, just realizing that nothing stays the same. It's just that simple.
Right.
And people are either going to roll with you or they're not going to roll with you.
Exactly.
And I think the biggest challenge is not what the people think, is what you think about how they respond to your growth.
No.
A lot of times we're a lot more critical of ourselves in those situations versus saying, "Hey, I got to do me," and if I got to release somebody, we tend to blame ourselves.
I think what you just said is the thing that some people hold on to too much to. Like, I'm not going to give a fuck about what somebody else is thinking or their issues that they may have with me. Your personal opinion is just that for you. It should not affect how I move on my day to day. You know what I'm saying?
Well, your shirt says that.
You know what I'm saying?
Your shirt says that. Fuck love you.
That's
what your shirt said.
But that's the concept. Like, okay, let's look at it. You know what I'm saying? If somebody came to you and was like, hey man, I think you need to change, how you do Chevalier life. I think you need to do X, Y, and Z. No different than somebody coming to Ray saying, hey, I think you need to do blah, 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 blah. And it's like, if what they're telling you doesn't fit in your aura or your goals, hey, I'll take your criticism, but that's all I'm going to do.
Right.
Then you can't sit here and think that you have that much impact on my way of thought, like to persuade me to do something that you might want to see. I might not want to see that.
Right.
That might not be my vision, my goal for Mount Olympus Cigars. That might not be Ray's goals for the Herfordor. That might not be your goal, saying for ChevalierLife.com. We as individuals have to figure out in our own path what we want to see, these things that we want to see in the future. Like, hey, where do I want to see myself in a year, 3 years, 5 years? Matter of fact, where do I need to see myself long term in 10 years? Am I in a retired life, but I'm still involved within the cigar community? That's your decision to make alone. I'm saying, but you're going to take whatever influence that you get, whether it be from Ray, whether that be from Cigar Rockstar, Kid McLean, Sudi. Like, you're going to take the necessary input that is aligned with what you feel deep rooted to say, yes, this is where I need to go to the next step.
Yeah,
that's true. I agree. Man, that's a great point, DJ.
But we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then I'm gonna need Chevalier to restate the question because I done forgot what it was.
Shit, me too.
For the cigar connoisseur who demands excellence, welcome to ChevalierLife.com. Elevate your collection with premium, high-end personalized humidors, crafted for those who appreciate true luxury. Explore a world of elite cigar accessories, cutters, lighters, and cases. Designed for style and precision, and complete your look with premium cigar-inspired apparel. Because every aficionado deserves to dress the part. Luxury, craftsmanship, legacy, ChevalierLife.com, where sophistication meets the smoke. Shop now. Live the lifestyle. The Chevalier Lifestyle.
All
I see
right.
you shaking your head. Welcome back to the lounge. I'm doing it like we on TV. Welcome back to the lounge.
I like that.
Welcome back to the lounge. We're talking about the power of reinvention. So I mean, from what I can remember of your story, man, of your question,
I
man.
got you. I can restate it.
Come on, come
I
on
had
with it.
forgotten for a second, but I remember now. So, like, are pursuing that intentional growth, what are some of the practices, that you use? Whether it's journaling or reflection, therapy, mentorship. What are some of the practices that you use to take you down that pathway of intentional growth?
So
I
two of
didn't say
those
it.
things, man.
Go ahead.
It sound almost like what it was before. One of the things, man, that I do is write it down. I write it down because I have the tendency to come up with amazing ideas and then I
25.
forget them. And so I write them down. Writing them down allows me to flesh them out to see if it's actually a good fit for me or if I need to give that idea to somebody else. Because I have given plenty of ideas to other people and it's
This
worked
is true.
amazingly
This
for
is
them.
true. Yeah,
It
this
would,
is true.
yeah, because it wouldn't work for me. But I do that. I also seek mentorship in various areas, right? So I may have one mentor for my spiritual journey, right? I may have another mentor for the cigar business, another mentor for the shows, another mentor for um, production. So I talk to people, man, and that's one of the main things that I do outside of writing it down is I talk to people. First and foremost, I talk to God. First and foremost, before I do anything else, I talk to God. I write it down and I say, God, is this something that you want for me or is it for somebody else? If it's for somebody else, I'm giving it to them. Now going forward, it's probably going to cost a little bit, but I get, if it ain't for me, it ain't for me.
Right.
Um, talking about people saying things, nothing that you say is going to make me move differently. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, unless you're one of those people who I'm asking, who I come to for advice, or whose opinion I respect in that aspect.
Right.
Other than that, it's not going to change the way you just say, "Hey, man, I think you should." Okay, thank you. Moving on. You know what I'm saying? If you're not in this space, you can't tell me what I need to do or how I need to move in this space. If you're not in this space and are either where I want to be or past that, then what you're saying isn't important at the point at that time. You know what I'm saying? Now, and that's not to say that if you see something and you say, "Hey, you should try this," depending on where it's coming from, and if I respect your opinion that in that area, then that's okay. Let's look at what that looks like. You know what I mean?
Right.
But again, immediately, okay, I got that piece of information. God, is this what I need to be doing? God, did this information come from you? Because a lot of people saying stuff and it ain't came from nowhere. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell you things to your detriment and laugh when you fall.
Empty words.
See, look at he can't do. I'm not dealing with. I don't dwell in that area. You can't tell me something, and I know that it's not coming from a place of I've been there. I don't want you to fall. I see where you're at. Or even a place that can boost my brand. You know what I'm saying? Because you've done it and it's worked. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, on the flip side of that, there are people who have great information and it hasn't worked for them. You know, there are people who will give information, who will give ideas because, like I said earlier,
It's not them.
it ain't for them. Like I've given
And
ideas.
they're not gatekeepers. They're not
Right,
gatekeepers.
right. But like
Yeah.
I said, I've given people ideas and I've told people things and it's worked amazingly for them. Am I
Yeah.
saying that I've been there or I'm where you're trying to go? No, but I sit back and I evaluate things, and if it's an idea that comes across my mind and I think it's going to be good for somebody, I'll give you that idea. Now it's up to you whether or not you receive it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you can give me ideas, and if I receive it, then and I take it, then that's good. But if it's not for me, then it just ain't for me. But if you're telling me, man, I don't like your show, fine, don't watch it.
Facts.
I don't like your cigars, fine, don't smoke them.
Move on.
Man, I don't like your beard, fine, don't look at me. I don't like the way you move when you're in a room full of people. Fine. Don't be in a room full of people with me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
those things don't matter to me. What matters to me is if you pull me aside and say, "Hey man, I see how you're moving. Try this instead." You know what I'm saying? Try this, you know, and then I say, okay, well, let me try with the next person I go and I talk to.
I
You know
think
what I'm
when
saying? And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, toss it.
I think when we think about this, I'm just sitting here like listening to you, Ray. And the cool thing about the lounge, man, like we can have these conversations over cigars. This shit is so cool because it's an opportunity for us to really have some deep conversations over cigars. I think about as we as our identity changes, man, you know, as we start to grow, as we start to pivot, we have to learn how to let go of a lot of things, you know. Like those things that worry us, the things, you know, the how we pay attention to the expectation others have on us. You know, the labels that they put on us, you
Right.
know, the you know, or stepping in the roles that really don't serve us anymore. You
Yeah.
know, that's a part of it. And I think that, you know, over time, man, there's a shift that we have to more so embrace. That I think the struggle in it is that a lot of times when that shift comes, either we don't realize it or we're afraid of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because we so caught up in, like I said, the labels and the things that, you know, people place upon us, their opinions and their evaluations, you know, about what we're trying to do. You know, we get caught up in that. And my biggest struggle, uh, you know, even today, I won't call it a struggle, but my biggest thing is to not allow myself to get caught up in that. You know, whatever I'm doing for Chevalier Life is just what I'm doing for Chevalier Life. And you know, the three of us have talked like off camera. We spent time together. You know, DJ, you and I were just in South Carolina a couple months ago together.
Yep.
And we had a chance to talk. And one of the biggest things that I admire about you is that you don't really give a fuck about what people have to say about how you do things. Like you're like not like the normal don't give a fuck because I don't give a fuck, but you're like extreme on that. You know what I'm saying? And I admire that about you, brother. Is that you just move based on how you feel, and if it feels right to you, you evaluate it, and then if there's some course correction that's needed, you do so. But if you don't, you just go and you really don't care. And I think for me, that's one of the biggest things. When I start really looking at it, I start second guessing myself, you know. And so I think it serves as a lesson, man, that we have to be more as we seek growth intentionally. We have to really stop, take time to do some of the things we need to do, whether it's journaling, therapy, like it says, and really find our space and then move in that space without regard for everybody else's opinion.
It. I mean, it's funny you say that. Because sometimes I think I struggle with that. Um,
Wow.
Even though you say it like that,
Hmm.
because like this is, you know, my therapy session for me sometimes on my own. So I'll
Hmm.
sit here and I will run through so many I guess scenarios, thought processes. I'll write it down. I'll throw some tunes on and be like, all right, what's Ray? What is Ray and you thinking about right now? Let me put on something that might be the track of the day. Um, and then I sit and ponder on it. And and realistically, I also reflect back
Hmm.
on my time in the military, where if I can't control it, I can't stress on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so that part, if I realize that early on, those are problems that I eliminate right off the bat. Like if I can't, control that scenario, then I will move that on, but I will focus on the shit that I can. So when it comes to business, like my cigars, you know what, blends, what I want things to look like, taste like, yeah, that's all in my hand. I have no control over shipping. I have no control over sales. Uh, I could put some shit out in the air for marketing, but again, I have no control over how people think, their opinions, and everything else. Now, should I let that affect me? Absolutely not. Um, so those are the things that I think I've learned when it comes to that personal growth stage, as far as, hey, accept what you can, change. Put that other shit in a box on the side. Occasionally you might be able to go back in that box and be like, you know what, I can't change this now. Let me bring that in and force that change and do what I need to do.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I think that we lose ourselves trying to make so many course corrections
Yeah.
instead of moving, continuously, step by step, in a forward momentum. And we can seek, like we already talked about, we can seek outside influences. Like the three of us talk all the time.
Yeah.
Occasionally, we might add Jeff in the mix. We might add Orlando in the mix. We might add RS in the mix. Um, that brotherhood, steers you in certain ways. However, it might not be us. Like I may have to talk to a sister of the leaf to get a honest woman's perspective on where do you see this.
I was just thinking that.
I might get hit with a curveball that just smacked me directly in my temple. Be like, damn, how did I not see that coming? And so that alone might cause me to pivot. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
that that one person, because we also have to understand, from male perspectives, from the female perspectives, our concepts sometimes are completely different. And
That's
so
true.
we all might look at something from, multiple perspectives. They're looking at it from multiple perspectives, but they're looking at it more from, I think, sometimes the compassionate point of view. Hey, with the more support kind of view, and hey, we want you to do better. I think a lot of times, when men and women start getting in these conversations about growth, It's like, hey, how can we do this together instead of doing it individually? It's a lot of times, sometimes it doesn't work. You know, you need, some added, steps to say, okay, you know what, I can climb those steps, and it might take, a few days, maybe a few weeks, maybe several months. It depends on where you're at in your growth journey. People can add to your to your growth. You might not even understand where that growth came from until it starts to happen. Then you're going to realize, like, oh shit, I remember this young lady or this young fella told me X, Y, and Z, and I didn't think nothing of it at the time. But now I would have to say, hey, I appreciate you giving me some of your insight when you did. I didn't quite understand it then, but I understand it now, and I appreciate it.
Wow. I kind of chalk that up to new relationships, or relationships that you have, in finding solid relationships, like we all did coming into this thing. We were all coming in at kind of the infant stage of our cigar journeys as it related to social media when we met each other.
Right.
And we got a core group here, which is like the nucleus of growth. Not being funny, but it really kind of is. When you think about over the years, how many conversations we've all had individually or collectively, where we've talked about different things that we want to do and achieve. Case in point, Charlotte Cigar Week at the Airbnb. I remember, the three of us, Fitz and RS, sitting out on the patio after you cooked an amazing goddamn meal, DJ. That shit was amazing.
Steaks big as my back.
Steaks big as, damn, that's a big steak.
That's a big steak.
That's a big ass steak, because Ray's got a big ass back.
Y'all can kiss my behind on that.
That's in the boundary box.
This is our little boundary box.
That part. And so, but as we sat down, you remember all of the things that we talked about, throughout the course of that day. And that day started at about 9 a.m. And we were out there until we went to the event that night at 7. We kicked it all day. But it started out with me and Ray out there drinking up an $1,800 bottle of rum.
We didn't know. We didn't know.
$1,800. We drank it like Kool-Aid. To all of you guys coming over and then kicking it with us, and it was something, man.
We drank some more
ideas. Yeah, we did some drinking. We ate and then we drank more, and it was really something to see the different ideas that came together just from us fellowshipping. And it's something when you look at us now and how we've all grown individually since then. Because a lot of, like, when I look back on it, a lot of the ideas that we were discussing, we've all independently implemented in our lives. Like, as we look at this whole topic of growth, man, and reinvention, we all left Charlotte, that week, and we took the information we needed. We all grew in different ways that still kept us together collectively.
Exactly.
I thought it was really cool, and it made me realize the power of,
but
collective thinking.
The thing you think about with that is also, like,
hold on. Is this Mr. Security?
What's good with y'all?
We ain't seen you in a month in 2-3 months worth of Sundays, man. Where you been?
I know.
What's up, big dog? What's up?
Not much, man. What's good with y'all?
Man, we just chilling, man, living the life.
So true.
Well, welcome back, sir, because you've been gone for quite a while.
I know, man. I know. Hey, but I'm back.
Good, man. We just talking about the power of reinvention today, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I posed a question, and it sparked a whole another kind of offshoot. So the question I posed was, what's a belief that you held 5 years ago that you no longer believe today?
Ooh. a belief that I had 5 years ago
Hmm.
that I don't have today.
Yeah.
Um, Everything ain't always green on the other side.
I like that. I like
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Through trial and error, of and it's life be lifing. How we
Yes, it
say life
does.
be lifing, and Jesus still be Jesus, and so I
Yes,
mean,
he
hey,
does. All
so I
day, every
mean,
day.
and so the thing is with that, it's more so of even like I mean, it comes down with everything from relationships to business. That hey, it ain't always greener. It may look good for somebody else, but hey, that ain't your purpose. So hey,
Right.
it ain't gonna be the same outcome that it looked like, from somebody else that it is for
Definitely.
you. So yeah,
Definitely.
that's what I would say in the last 5 years.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I
Can I
appreciate
get a
that,
to-go
man.
plate?
I hear all of that. No, you can't get no to go plate.
Man, I'm up here eating these nachos. It's like street corn. What is it
Look,
called? Street
you don't
corn nachos?
you don't want us to go play with that right there because they're gonna be mushy by the time you get to the house.
I know.
Exactly.
but it was paid for, so I'm gonna take it to the crib.
You're right.
Regardless.
Exactly.
I eat it with a fork.
And put you're gonna take it and eat 2 bites and
Oh,
put it in the
okay.
refrigerator for the next 7 days. End
I
up having to throw it
I
away.
eat leftovers,
Hold on.
sir.
No. Hold on real quick, y'all.
Yeah.
I eat
But
leftovers, sir.
but
I tell you, I
but,
eat leftovers.
but
Well, come
some
on, DJ. What you was talking about?
but some there's something that you just talked about when he talked about Charlotte. So let's truly think about this. You know what I'm saying? From Ray originally being from, you know, Louisiana.
New
You
Orleans. I'm from New
Houston,
Orleans.
you from
Houston.
Louisiana. It's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
It's the same
It
thing.
is. It's the same
Um,
thing.
It's definitely
and,
not the same thing.
you know what I'm saying? Hey, everybody Creole as fuck.
We
Um,
don't we don't we don't eat a lot of the stuff. Look, people don't believe me, but I tell you this: I had never had boudin until I left New Orleans.
you know
Because
what?
you
That's you know what? I'm gonna pray for you. That's a blasphemous statement.
We don't eat that.
And so
We ain't
uh
eat that.
whatever.
were
But looking back at explaining in a several I think of the lounges about Gary, Indiana, and his travels and finding home, in Forney, Texas. Myself, being born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina, and also being raised in Birmingham, Alabama, like we offer so many different unique perspectives. So even in that time period, we look at RS who's out in Cali, Cigar Boss that's in Colombia, the different variations in age groups, the different variations in life experiences. Like we had a lot, I believe, to offer to each other, new or old. And like you said, we took that on board, not as a hey, we all are in competition with one another. We saw it as an opportunity for the entire group of fellas to grow and to the next level. And so we started, moving, I think, more so in that kind of manner. You two brought more, controversial talks to the lounge. Cigar Boss brought, his uniqueness. RS and Mo thinking about, the tours and the facting about couples relations within the cigar community. That in its own right mind, it was all growth that can be generated from fucking 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so Ray thinking about, hey, you got new concepts of cigars to come out. You know what I'm saying? I have depending on shipping, four new cigars to drop.
Right.
Yule's thinking about, his new concept of, humidors, merch, his practices within the community, and all of us, what I'm saying, still pulling together, hey man, what you got going on? What you thinking about? How what would you think about this idea that I'm thinking about pulling? And it might not fit all of us in the same, platform, but it might work for one of the six of us
Yeah.
in that same accord. So, you have to continue to, I think, uplift the fellow brothers, sisters, and
Yeah.
within our realm. Um, but understanding, not everybody's going to accept that.
That's true. That's
Some
true.
some people are going to fall off of the train, as we would like to call Ray. Hey, ching ching, this is your stop. You get the fuck
Yeah.
off. I'm going. Hey, I got the next destination to go to, and but that is good though. Like that's not necessarily a negative thing. You know what I'm saying? When some people fall off, that's also weight.
It's evolution. It's
That's
evolution is what I call it.
but that's weight. That's
Yeah.
weight also falls off that allows your momentum to keep going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, people have to understand that, and it's not to say that they completely fell off. That idea might just not be for them.
Right.
Yeah,
And
Maduro Melly put a comment earlier. Everyone we encounter is a part of our divine journey. Some people are. Let me put it up here. Some people are here for a season, and some people are here forever.
Right.
And that's one of the things that you're talking about. And then Lady Erica Inez earlier, she said, just like we invite people into our lives, it's okay to uninvite them. Everybody is not going to be able to ride your bus or your train or your plane
To the destination.
to your destination.
Right.
Some people have to get off when you turn the corner.
everyone's not welcome.
Exactly. Everyone ain't welcome because everybody doesn't have your best interest at heart. Some people are riding with you, waiting on that moment that you fall so they can say, "Ha ha! I knew he wasn't gonna make it."
Right.
Or they got people who are sitting
Gotcha,
in the
bitch.
back of the train, sitting in the last car of the train saying, he ain't gonna make it. Watch. He ain't gonna make it. I hope you don't make it. He ain't gonna make it.
They don't
And
want to
it's
see.
up to
They
you.
don't want to see the growth. People, like, and you're right, right? People are afraid to watch other people grow because they're afraid to feel like they're ascending above them. And if you really think about that, man, a lot of times when you're in those situations, man, and you're doing things, it ain't because they're concerned about you. It's not always. I don't want to say
No,
it's not.
it's not.
It's not always because they're concerned. A lot of times they're only concerned about the fact that you're doing a little bit more than what they're doing. And that's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. I see Damon has just joined us.
Damon
Is
is
that
in here.
Yeah.
yeah, Damon, Charlotte Cigar Week just up
Mine
there.
is in the building.
What up,
Ray.
Damon? I just figured I put that up there.
No,
Look, I got Davis dance there.
that's just raw.
You got that leg shake down?
No, hell, my leg won't shake like that since I broke
So
Right.
Cigar Rashes STL said that's why you keep your circle small. And
that
Damon
part.
said folks want you to do good, but not better than them.
Mhm.
Ashes Cigar Lounge STL fire back with keep like-minded people around you.
Yeah,
Man, look,
And that's gonna always be the thing. Like
yeah.
we talk
they.
about, I think we all could be like-minded brothers, but at the same
Oh
time,
yeah,
you also need to seek those that are doing more than what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like you wanna reach those, you want to take yourself to that next level. And so it's it's funny we talk about that because I think you made a a point some time ago about being uncomfortable and putting yourself in rooms that
Oh yeah.
you might not be welcome in. But how do you know whether or not you're welcome in these rooms or not? You know what I'm
You got to
You
saying?
get
don't
in
go
there.
in the room. You got to go in the room.
You have to take that stride. You have to walk in, and at the same time, man, look, keep your head up high. Look, everybody's gonna look. Everybody's gonna be like, well, who is this individual? What they doing? What's going on here? And so, as you know, Damon put out, yeah, there's a lot of people that's gonna act like they're friends, that they're close to you, and everything else. Um, but you will know that when hardships come into play.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You'll
When
know
difficult
who
time.
who you can pick up that phone and call, whether they're gonna answer or not. And I don't mean like, hey, uh, it's 12 p.m. on a Friday. Hey man, what we getting into this weekend? Nah, I think it's that 2 a.m. phone call. Like, hey bro, I'm having problems sleeping. I got too much on my mind. Uh, I hate to bother you at this time. And a lot of times, your people gonna be like, hey bro, what you need? Nah, you good? Like
Definitely, man.
I,
Definitely.
I,
And
I I
Yeah.
can I can take tomorrow off. Like, let's talk. What you know what I'm saying? And they're gonna go outside, light up a smoke, and whether y'all talking virtually or just on audio, we're gonna talk. Like, let's figure out this problem together.
definitely, man. Definitely. There are people, as Damon said, the frenemies. People
I
who
was
act
just
like
about to touch
friends.
that.
People who act like friends just to stay close enough to hate on you. Those people who, they make it seem like to you that they care about you and all you got going on. Yet they all the whole time is they sitting in the background saying he ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna
Hey,
make it.
wait,
Or
let me
or
put
telling
something out
people all your business.
there. Yep. Let me put something out there. Damon, if you feel like it, man, why don't you join us? And
Get your
I
ass,
feel
get your ass
I
in here.
get your ass in here, Damon. I feel some kind of way.
Why?
So I don't know if it's appropriate for me to say. Let me do it like that. I don't know if it's appropriate for me to
Then it
say,
might
but
not be.
it's probably not appropriate for me to say. But I feel some kind of way as it relates to Damon. So let me say this:
He said
in
he
20,
ain't coming on. He doing some house improvements.
okay, in 2023, we we went to Charlotte Cigar Week, and and all three of us were there.
Yeah.
So we experienced some things that were I'm
Sidebar.
gonna say life changing for our journeys individually and collectively in the cigar industry. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
I'll agree.
So when we so that being said, I feel like and I've had a lot of time to give some a lot of thought to this. And I'm gonna try to be as politically correct as I can when I say this. But one of the things I would like to stop witnessing within this community is judgment. I think that if we're riding with someone, then we got to ride with them until we see something different. And I'm guilty, to be honest. I'm guilty of it to a certain degree, but I think that we need to start. We we need to stop with the personal attacks. We need to just move within this community, this culture, the way we move within the culture, and allow and let personal be personal, and let the culture be the culture. At the, I don't know if that makes sense, but at the end of the day, where I'm
It
going,
makes sense. It
I
makes
think
sense.
I think I
at,
understand
at,
what you're saying is
yeah,
stop talking, you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
about, you know what I'm saying, certain things. Because a lot of times, and I think we had this conversation before, you know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah,
when,
yeah,
when we got these groups and they're all, you know, trying to shame one another for whatever reason, but individually, y'all don't know these people.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
y'all,
That's exactly where I'm going. We
y'all,
don't
this
know
is what
these
I get
people.
from that. This is what I get from that, and my response to that, man. Let he who is without sin cast the first
Cast the
stone.
first fucking stone. And if you live
We
in a glass
all,
house, I suggest you not throw none.
we
That's
all, nobody
hold on.
is perfect. Nobody is without blemish. Not one of us walking on this earth. There's only been one perfect person walking on this earth, and he been gone for a little over 2,000 years.
Right.
So
2000, 2021 years.
little bit more than that. A little bit more than that.
Yeah.
But
You man.
the thing is, you was there. But the thing is, um, we have to understand, man, that I am my brother's keeper, and you are your sister's keeper. You know what I'm saying? If there are people in your life who are going through something at any point, whatever it may be, that they're going through something, we all have to understand that we've all been through. Is that a bramble?
No, nigga, this is something better than, excuse me, I don't want to use that word. But no, buddy, this is something much better than a ramble.
Oh
What?
Lord,
Well,
you don't
Yeah,
finna be
my wife,
you don't
hey, my
finna
wife,
be mispronouncing
bro,
words.
hey,
what can be better than that?
man. So when I was in, well, I tell you what, let me go back. When I was at PCA, I had an opportunity to kick it with Manolo and Serge from Casa 1910. And so
Mm.
when I told them I was going to Cabo, they had this they had this tequila on their display that they were promoting. And so they told me when you go to Cabo, we want you to do Cabo, we want you to do two things. We want you to go to the Rosewood Cigar Lounge at one of the exclusive resorts, and then we want you to grab this tequila. So I grabbed the tequila while I was down there, and I brought it back.
Well,
And Felicia's been making me margaritas with it since about 5 o'clock. And let
we
me
want
tell you something.
we want the name of the killer.
You about to
I,
be
I'm gonna grab the box. I'll have her bring Felicia because she's watching. Bring that box out here, so because I can't even say it right now because
we know
I'm
you
on my
can't say it. You can't say
margarita.
it when you sober.
You was just at my house, man. I wish I really would have spiked your chicken,
Hold on.
but I digress.
Mark, are
You
you
was just
rolling?
at my house this weekend.
But anyway, as I was saying before I got
Yeah,
interrupted,
my bad.
I really think that we need to, yeah, Cosmonomics is right. Say please. You're gonna
Right.
tell her bring that box out there. Say please.
Reserve what?
I don't know. Can't pronounce it. De la Familia.
Mm.
Reposado.
So, let me tell you
You
something.
need to apologize and say please before you get that box out the way. They're not a sponsor. Move.
Right.
They're not a sponsor, but because of Casa 1910, I grabbed it, and let me tell you something amazing.
But they don't sponsor the lounge. So
Well, y'all asked me, so I went and got it.
anyway, I
Roger
just
that.
think that we need to understand that, understand that aspect, the fact that none of us is perfect. So if all you're doing is stuck on someone's imperfections, whatever it may be, somebody's mistake, whatever it may be, you need to work on yourself.
Well, what I believe though with that, Ray, what I believe with that, at some point we gotta let it go. Um, it's not us. It's not. It's people's situations are they situations,
Right.
and all I can do is pray for
Pray for you.
them and keep it pushing. But what I'm not getting ready to do, and I'm not going to allow myself to be a party of, and I felt myself going there, was starting to attack, or to feel some kind of way because of what other people are saying. At the end of the day, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to wait and see and reserve my thoughts and comments based on the outcome. But until then, we're going to keep on moving like we move.
Right.
And I think that's how it should be. And I've had a great deal of time to uh, put put thought to this, and it might not be a popular sentiment, but
It
man,
doesn't
look,
matter if it's a popular
yeah,
sentiment or not. It's
I've
the
had
right
shit
thing to
said
do.
about me. I've had shit said about me that I know ain't fucking true.
But here's the thing: it doesn't matter if it's the right sentiment or what matters is that's the way that we need to live our lives because you wouldn't
Right.
want no one wants to be their mistake. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? No one wants their mistake or something in the past uh, to 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 define them. You know what I'm saying? Uh, we have to understand that people grow, people change, people move. Let that go and move on. If you don't like somebody for a legitimate reason, then okay,
Don't fuck
whatever.
with them.
You
But this
know,
is cigars. This is cigars. This isn't brain surgery. This isn't shit that we do that should be ruining people's lives. And I think that's my point. Like, I think we've gotten to a point in this culture, some factions of this culture have gotten to a point where, because they don't like a person or they envy growth or this, that they attack them personally. Man, woman, it doesn't matter. One of the things that I want to do is be completely honest in saying I'm not about to allow myself to be a party to that. And I just don't want to see it no more. There's just so much room for growth here that we don't have time to be trying to stifle other people's shit because of personal vendettas. That's kind of where I'm going.
that's true.
What is
That's true.
cigars and love talk? What she said, or a deadbeat dad mom. Let me go back because I missed some
Well,
of that.
no, she said first. Well, that's too bad for people that don't want their mistakes to define them. Because if you're a sex offender, we need to know that.
That's true. I mean, everything is fluid. So let me be clear. Everything is fluid. If you're a sex offender and you moving in the neighborhood and you like to touch little kids, we need to know that. I mean, goes without saying. But in that's some of the more extreme scenarios. But just in the everyday
I mean, it's not
scenario,
a blanket statement. It's not a
no, it's
blanket
not a
statement.
blanket
But
statement. It's not a blanket. I get where she's going, and I
yeah,
agree.
I understand that, and
I
I, and I,
agree.
and I
I
do
agree.
agree.
I do.
However, uh, if if you committed a crime 30 years ago and you ain't committed nothing since, that crime should not define you.
No, because
Whatever that
everybody
crime it may be,
evolves
and
and
I'm gonna say it like
changes.
that.
Some people change for the better, some people change for the worse. But one
Yeah.
thing people do is change. They don't stay the fucking same, nor does any situation that you're in. And so, kind of where I'm going is that, we need to reserve judgment based on a case by case basis.
Well, it's
And
not our place to judge nobody.
yeah, yeah, or reserve our reactions to judgment on that. Let me clarify that.
It ain't
But
it ain't it ain't our place to judge
It ain't,
nobody.
like,
yeah, I agree.
it ain't that place to have I guess the masses of the opinions.
Yeah,
So my
Like,
thing is since I've been in the cigar industry, and newly in the cigar industry about 3 years now, 4 years now. It's like what I've
trust me, bro.
noticed, and I'm in, cigar group and stuff like that, not to put out names and stuff like that, but they known nationally. But the thing is what I see is I've noticed that there's a lot of clicks. You get what I'm saying? And it's just like real cliquish when it's supposed to be all about brother and sisterhood of belief, meaning that regardless if you in an organization or not, or you know, whatever it may be, if you come to have a bond with a brother or sister of belief, that's what y'all stand on, not just on the organization that you're a part of.
Right.
And oh, I can't talk to this person because they're not in the organization, or hey, guess what? We're gonna try to recruit them in the organization. So then, okay, we could talk basically about them, or you talk about them because they're not in the group. You know what I'm saying? So I've noticed that a lot. And it's crazy, but y'all right about that.
Listen,
It's supposed to be strictly about, you know, the cigars, the fellowship of that, not of anything else, really. Anything else,
Exactly. I
high,
agree.
you know.
high school semantics.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Oh, Bryson just joined the group.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah, we see Bray. Yo,
crew me.
What up, Bryson? Good to see you, man. Good to see
Look at
you. Good
look
to
at
see you.
So y'all, we were all together. Me, Bryson, and Ray were together over at El Jefe Cigar Lounge on Saturday,
right?
and, and these guys was clowning. No, that was Sunday. They was clowning. Ray calling him fat predator. He calling Ray all kind of stuff. I'm not even smoking. I'm just sitting there chilling. They clowning, man. They clowned all
Right.
weekend. The two of them clowned all weekend. He called him Eddie Murphy in the comments. I hate you, Ray. Bryson just called Ray Eddie Murphy.
Oh man,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah,
That's hilarious.
hilarious.
But yeah, man, Cigar Connections, what's going on? What's going on? But man, like I said, man, I had to put it out there. I feel some kind of way, and
What?
going forward, man, I just want us to get back to the way we used to do things and not get so caught up in the bullshit, man.
And
I think when we silence the bullshit, it gives more opportunity for us to all move forward.
you're right. But at the same time, what I think a lot of people also fail to realize is, life is life. Um,
Yeah,
like we all have, regardless of friendships, connections, and everything else, we all go through, personal adversities, on our own. And
right,
a lot of times, we're only going to pull resources from those that are closest to us, those that uh, actually understand. Matter of fact, those that we hold true. And when I say that, it's, hey, my man, this is what happened. X, Y, and Z. This is what I'm going through. Whether it's a medical thing, personal thing, regardless of the matter. Not everybody is going to be privy to that information. And those that think they are, what I'm saying, and put words out there for the masses, what I'm saying, then they're just dead wrong until they have, you know, all the insights to do so.
True.
At a lot of times, it's speculation and it's opinion. And sometimes you have to leave that on the table as such.
Yeah. Yeah, you're muted, sir.
I said agreed. My bad.
We couldn't. All we saw was your oblong head shaking. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the vibe.
What's up, folks? This is Derek from Vic's world famous Chicken in the Cooler. These crabs. And I'm gonna shake. But the consistency also.
Say bacon burger, dog, because the bacon ain't ready. Man, that is gonna be.
Not gonna do it. On here, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna tell jokes. Cause that's what barbecue is all about. If you ain't having fun cooking, having people try your food, looking for that enjoyment, laughter and smile on their face, that enjoyment every time they put your meat in their mouth, man, so many different ways. But I'm seriously.
No Diddy.
I know you love that commercial. That's why.
Every time I hear that shit, dude, I just be like, I sit there like,
hey, look, no Diddy.
Every time they put your meat in their mouth.
Your meat in their mouth.
Look, I'm at to tell them. I'm like, hey, high end, like, make sure you don't be using no baby oil.
Hey,
marinating the ribs in baby oil.
Like, hey, y'all remember at Charlotte Cigar Week when High End walked in with all us? And he was the littlest thing up there. He was like 2 inches above Mimi Moss Swag.
Yeah, he ain't tall at all.
He was taller than Mimi, you know. Mimi looking at him talking about, I can't even look up at you, fucker. You know.
Oh, Bryson said that was funny. Fat Predator laughing.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh man, you queued up, man.
Man, I stay queued up. So
it's time for the vibe.
All right, y'all. This is the vibe. This is the time when we relight our drinks, pour our drinks, relight our cigars, and we put a little music on. We vibe. Now, this was my cigar track of the day, so I decided to put it in here. This is a song by Tonio Armani called "Help Me Find My Draws." I think we needed to lighten it up, put a little blues on here. So help me find my draws, y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's go.
Oh God. Yeah.
I love this song, dog.
Look.
Oh man.
Look, your drawers is probably somewhere in the backyard.
Could be.
Knowing him, his drawers are connected to his pants.
Help me find my draws.
Chevalier wear pants with drawers connected.
I got somewhere to be. Ray, you need some of that. There's some New Orleans shit right here.
What's some New Orleans? What are you talking about? Finding your drawers?
He said he got a call at 4 a.m. You was talking, man, and you missed it. And the chick, he knew what she wanted to do. He said he couldn't stay long. Somebody help me find my drawers. I gotta go. I got someplace to be.
Well, what? Never mind.
Mm-hmm. He fell into the wrong crawfish, bro.
He going to the wrong place.
No, he was at the right place. He got a booty call at 4 a.m. as he was leaving the club, and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna come back because I know what you want to do, but I can't stay too long." Listen to the words, man.
So he got to find some drawers to put on.
No, he couldn't find his drawers after he did what he needed to do. Listen to the words. Help me find my drawers.
Look, Ray, that sounds like some Creole voodoo shit right there. Somebody got his drawers.
Somebody from New Orleans. He from like New Orleans or something.
Somebody got them drawers and them buried them in the yard somewhere.
That's New Orleans. I know my neighbors are sitting here. I got all these like uptight white neighbors. I know they're like, what the fuck is help me find my drawers? What are drawers?
You only got one uptight white neighbor.
No, I got more than one, but they so cool over there on the other side. We don't even talk about
it. They probably sitting over there vibing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They old boy. They probably got some of that Jack Daniels over there.
Look, they probably don't know where their drawers at either. They probably like, yeah, where our drawers at?
They're like, Yule's over there in the backyard singing about his drawers.
I think Bryson got something to say. No? All right.
Did you what he said?
He ain't say nothing. He just wanted to be seen.
No, he said I didn't have no drawers on when I went over our house. He just had some tight shorts on.
Well, if he ain't had no drawers on when he went over there, what he got to find him for? That's confusing. That's all I'm
That's
saying.
that's Bryson, not the guy.
He went over there with some biker shorts.
Ray, you completely lost the message in your song.
I did.
You know what? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do.
Bryce said, "Why y'all keep coming for me, son?"
Bryson, man, we love you, man. We love you, man.
Why y'all keep coming for me? My bad, fat predator.
Who coming for you, Ray?
My bad, fat predator.
Do you? Why you call him that? Where did that come from?
Because he look like a fat predator.
I'm just gonna pick another song for the vibe.
And I happened to Google fat predator, and a picture of Bryson showed up. Bing.
Man, y'all see my wife coming out here with this thing?
Hold on. Look.
You need to say thank you, sir. Please and thank you.
Please.
They're called the magic words.
Don't be running.
I just changed the vibe, man. So I'll tell y'all what. For the vibe tonight, as I relight my cigar and I got my drink report and I didn't even say please. Thank you, baby. The track tonight is Poke Bowl by Radiant Children. This is a neo soul groove that you can feel the beat to. You ain't got to find no draws. All you got to do is listen. So let's go.
Did you say pork bone?
Poke Bowl. P-O-K-E Bowl.
Oh.
This is a track from 2018. I just discovered it last night. Y'all don't know, but like all my stuff is back over there on the patio. So I can only imagine what that sounds like about 4 houses down the street.
Look, loud as fuck.
I don't care.
Oh yeah, you pissing them off.
Look, we know.
I'm the only one that pay my mortgage.
Again, this is what we talked about when it comes to people's opinions.
We don't give a fuck. So the vibe, we do this at 8:30 during the lounge all the time, and it ain't nothing but an intermission, just a time to sit back and groove to the beat as we relight our cigars, pour our drink, and recollect our thoughts. So hopefully y'all enjoying the vibe. The track is Poke Bowl, P-O-K-E-B-O-W-L, by a neo soul group called Radiant Children. Definitely a soulful vibe to chill to when you're smoking your cigars, sipping on your drinks, and living the Chevalier lifestyle where you smoke, sip, sing, and say.
So man, back on topic.
Come on.
I wanna pose this to y'all, right?
Okay.
Right.
So people see the wins, and people, sometimes people see your losses, right? But people don't see the weight that it carries getting to that place. So I want each one of you to talk a little bit about what success has quietly cost you.
Well, for me, it's cost me, first of all, some peace of mind. So you guys know me, so you know I don't walk around talking about Chevaliers and Chevaliers that. I don't even think I'm all that successful. But what I've experienced has been difficult to adjust to
Mm-hmm.
because I have a family. So give you guys an example. I was in Cabo a couple weeks ago. I'm on the boat on the Sea of Cortez. Now, before we left to go to Cabo, my wife said to me, she said, you ain't Chevalier. It's you and Felicia in Cabo San Lucas. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna chill.
I'm
I
laughing because
pull,
I know this story.
you know the story. So I'm out on the we're on this catamaran on the Sea of Cortez, right? I pull out a cigar. I stopped, bought a lighter at one of the little shops, little plastic lighter. And this on this catamaran, we're going to see the arch that out there in the middle of the water, big rock formation with the
Yeah.
arch in it. And so we're out there, and there was probably 8 couples on this catamaran, right? And talking to this black guy that turns out to be from here. He was in the Marine Corps. He's active duty Marine, and him and his wife are on there with us. And he looks at me as I saw him with a cigar in his hand, and so I grabbed my cigar and I lit it up, and I saw you standing over here. He didn't have a lighter, right? We on the Sea of Cortez, man. And I go over to him. I say, "Hey, man, I got a lighter. You need to light that? You need a cutter?" He said, "Yeah, man. I left all my stuff." So I let him use my stuff. Lit him up. We talking. He said, "Say, bro, don't I know you?" I said, "No, sir. I don't think so. Where you from?" He said, "Well, I actually live in Fort Worth, which is right over here on the other side of Dallas." I said, "Well, do you work for General Motors?" He said, "No, I've been in the Marine Corps for 15 years." I said, "Okay." He said, "But that's not where I know you from. Your name's Chevalier." Nobody pronounces this motherfucker right. He says, "Your name's Chevalier." He said, "You made a humidor for my aunt and uncle in Atlanta." I said, "Humidor, aunt, uncle in Atlanta." I said, "You talking about James Thompson? James and Kai Thompson?" He said, "Yeah. You made the humidor for them. They came and got it from you in Charlotte." My wife looked at me, dude, and she was like, "We can't go nowhere without there being no goddamn Chevalier shit." Yeah, I mean, and she wasn't hating. She wasn't really mad, but she was like, "Oh my God, we
Like
on
for
the Sea
real.
of Cortez."
Like
Like
this
she
is
was
what
like, "For real," and I
like this
was
is
like,
going on.
and so I took a picture of me and the dude and sent it to them, and they hit me right back. "That's my nephew. You chilling with my nephew? Where y'all at?" I said, "We in Cabo," and they were like, "What?" So where I'm going with that to answer your question, one of the biggest things, man, is learning not only time management, but how to separate Chevalier life from Mule life. It's been a journey. It's been a journey filled with frustration for both me, for my wife, because she doesn't like all the access that people think they have to me. You know, if they walk up to me, man, woman, or child, mostly man, woman, I'm gonna stop and speak because these are the people that buy the shirts, that buy the humidors, that support conversations with Chevalier. And so I'm gonna speak, but I've come to realize how difficult it can be for her when she just wants time with me without all of that.
Yeah.
So for me, that's been the biggest part. It's been trying to separate all of that, to quiet the noise, in the midst of the confusion and
Right.
try to, just be me, to be you. That's been really difficult to do. And then, people you have a hard time trying to discern who's really here for you and who's really not. And I'm not even on no big scale like that, but man, you'd be surprised how I get disappointed when I think people just like me because they think I'm cool, and then they turn around and ask me to do something for them, or can you connect me with this person in the cigar industry? Dude, that's really disheartening sometimes.
Mm.
So that's been the difficult part, man, trying to separate Chevalier life from regular life.
Yeah.
And for those of y'all that know, Chevalier is actually my middle name. So,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm making up some shit. That's my middle name. And so it's been really difficult. Cloud Brothers just joined us, man. What's going on, bro?
What's going on?
What you got, DJ?
Mm. You know what? I don't even know how to top that. But the the crazy part about that, I think what you were saying is that is always it's going to be an issue with time management, because you have to find a time to separate, your personal life from the business, and sometimes that is hard. Like, I mean, I wasn't in my right mind. I wasn't representing, Mount Olympus Cigars when I went to a Rocky Patel event just the other day. But I just smoked Rocky Patel. I smoked Mount Olympus while I was at the, the function. And people were like, hey, well, you got these Rocky Patels. I said, hey, but I got me. I know what my blends are. I know how they taste, and I like it. And so I ended up making a few connections. So sometimes it can be difficult to turn off business when you're out trying to have a pleasurable moment, because as you already kind of alluded to, you go certain places, people might recognize you, whether they recognize me from the lounge, whether they recognize me from being a follower or someone connected to them to my cigars. It would be the same thing. So I mean, at the same time, I got to meet Shanika Levitas One, who's the Emerson's rep when it comes to event coordinator. She's done some stuff with Farm Weaver, Uncle Nearest, and the likes. So you have to decide, so to speak, when to turn business off and keep it personal, and vice versa. And so, and I say that because sometimes, you know what, you can't miss a connect. And so a dude at my daughter's commencement said, hey, when an opportunity presents itself, and Ray, you'll like this, sometimes you just got to get on that bus.
Yeah.
And ride it for as long as you can. But you also have to understand when it's your time to get off.
Yeah.
This gentleman went through, and I'm talking about he had done things with ZZ Top and Elton John. Like, he had done a lot of promo things that probably made him a lot of money, but then he realized later, after it might have been a little detriment. Oh shit, I stayed on the bus too long. I had needed to get off 3 stops ago, and I didn't. Now I'm fucked up in the game. Now I gotta kind of reinvent myself, start over, and everything else. So you got to recognize when it's time to get off the bus, when you're dealing with people that, they recognize you and everything else. Sometimes, you can be like, yeah, that's me. Shake a hand and walk, and just move the fuck on.
It's difficult. It's difficult though, because you don't want to disappoint anybody.
You don't, because and it's I don't want to say it's silly, but you know what? You kind of start to understand how celebrities or NBA or NFL players feel when they're walking through an airport, or they're in their home state, and they just want to go out and grocery shop, or have a great time with their family. You're like, oh shit, I know you. Hey, let me get this.
I think at that aspect, certain professions, you have to understand that that's something that comes with it.
It does.
Right? Certain professions, that comes with that profession. You're an actor. You're a musical artist. You an athlete. You're on TV all the time. But people start to see, and then
But my
when
point is,
but
why wouldn't that be the same? And let's say Rocket Patel, David Off. You know what I'm saying? You got those major reps that are walking
oh
through.
no. I'm what I'm saying is, and even in that sense, in a lot of cigar lounges, if Carlito Fuente walked into a
Right.
lot of cigar lounges, people would bombard him and be like, "Oh, I want to take pictures with you." That comes with
That comes with
that
the
comes
territory.
with that territory. But when it comes to, um, I think like in the aspect of what we do, right? It's not it's not a part of what we think is going to happen, right?
Right.
We don't
Right.
we don't expect to go
We
somewhere,
don't expect
and I'm purely speaking from I'm not speaking from experience, because I ain't never been nowhere and somebody said, "Hey, you
That's
raid True Life." What
that's not
happens is
that is not true. Don't go there. Don't
if
go
I'm
there.
with Chevalier, what I get is, uh,
Listen,
oh, you Chevalier, hey man, yeah, this Ray who do the lounge with me, and they go, "Oh, anyway," so I don't have to experience that, but
that's not true.
but anyway, answering that question,
look,
Oh, that's not
look,
um,
true.
look,
No, freeze flag
look,
on the play. Oh boy,
look,
that is not true.
look, fuck all that. Ray just became the Suge Knight for the lounge.
don't
That's what he
nobody
does.
know me.
Everybody knows it. Look what Felicia put in the comments.
Trusty Steve. Felicia called you on my trusty Steve. She told me, "Get your trusty Steve." He was in that.
Wow.
Hey,
This is
call,
all this
call us
weekend.
Shrek and Donkey.
Wow.
Oh man.
Look,
Anyway,
look,
Oh man, I
look,
knew that was coming. I
look,
knew that was coming.
Felicia, don't stop.
Stop it.
and
And don't
nah,
bring no more
nah,
damn
keep it
down here.
going. Keep
Don't
it
bring no more
going.
drinks down here, because
Hey, hold on, Donkey. Let me talk. So no, man. I mean, what it is definitely cost me. Like Damon said, some solitude, anonymity, and attachment of fake friends. I mean, I've
yeah,
there are people who, well, I can't say attachment of fake friends too much to me, because I'm pretty good at discerning people. So I don't really, I don't really have too many fake friends, because I use that word very heavily. Friend is not a term I use lightly. If I call you my friend, then that means something. It's not just somebody that I know. Um, but definitely, as my wife stated earlier, time management. It has cost me time management in
yeah.
trying, this journey for success, because I start focusing on being successful at this thing, and then trying to be successful at this other thing. And what falls to the wayside is relationships, marriage, you know, those things fall to the wayside. And it's not it's not because I do it on purpose. It's just because I get focused on this one thing. So I'm focused on making new graphics for the lounge, and I spend my entire off day doing that. Or I'm focused on getting putting together new cigar blends, or writing the treatment for an ad for somebody, or something like that.
Right.
And what happens is I spend all my time doing that. I spend the entire day doing that, and I don't spend enough time with the people I love, or the people that love me. Um, and I think
Time
the
management.
the other side to that is I'm working to buy back that time.
So I was
Right.
just about to hit that. When you're driven, as you are, Ray, as we both, all three of us are driven. And when you're driven, sometimes, although you see it, you find yourself saying to yourself, let me just knock out this project. This one gonna get me there. And you do it with everything that you're doing. And I think sometimes, man, it just it turns into like a deficit for
Mm.
your loved ones. You end up like not spending time because every opportunity is that one thing that you need to finish so you can move to the next level.
Yeah, but
That's
like, but like
when you're just
even more so, man. I heard Myron Golden talk about this, man, and this is he was talking about um um what was that? Oh, anyway, I heard so he was talking about why he flies private, right? Why he flies private, and it's aside from the fact that flying commercial is annoying, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot
Yes,
of
it
his
do.
time.
Yeah, it
So
do.
he flies commercial. He's got to stand in the security line. He got to get there an hour, 2 hours early. Stand in the security line. Wait to board. Finally board. Wait to lift off. Once they get in the air, he got to wait to get to the ground. Once he get to the ground, he got to go to baggage claim. He got to wait to get his bags. Then he got to wait to get a ride wherever he got to go. And that can take half of your day. So instead of that, he's going to fly private and cut that 7 hour experience down to 2 hours. I
yeah.
get there, I get there 15 minutes before it's time to lift off, land, and I'm gone. Get my bags right from the plane. So for me, it's all about working to buy back my time because we're not going to get any more time. So we have to make
That's
the
true.
most of the time that we have. And if I can buy back some of this time, meaning I can, I don't have to go punch a clock for somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I wake up in the morning, I do what I need to do, and then the rest of the day is for me to spend with my family, to spend with friends, to spend with people that love me, people that I love, to do the things I enjoy doing. That's the reason that I push so hard. Now, does that mean that that's an excuse for me
No.
having poor time management? No, not at all. It just means that when I get started on a project, I'm focused on getting it to a point to the end. So that way the ultimate goal is to buy back the time that I don't have right now. People always say, we all got 24 hours in the day. Okay, but the people who normally say that are people who ain't got to punch no clock for
Right.
nobody.
Yeah.
They ain't people who got to schedule out they PTO.
Right.
They ain't people who got to do that. They're people who already have that, and they've been doing it for a long time, and they can do what they want to do. You know
I
what I'm
just think,
saying?
yeah, I think
I
for
went.
me, right, it
Okay.
goes back to like my desire is to try to fulfill the needs at home, at work, and in Chevalier life. And and for me, it feels like my main goal is to get to a point where Chevalier life puts me in a place where I can eliminate at least one of them factors. Like Chevalier life becomes work, and then there's this home and Chevalier life. But one of the things that I've learned on this journey, man, is that when you're married, you have a family, and you're out here, you have to be extra careful uh, in how you move because your intentions may be to be nice, but
Right.
sometimes people take those intentions as other things and they put it out that way, and they do things that can be detrimental to your marriage, in their comments. Look here, there's nobody, and we own right now, so I'm gonna say it because I know there's plenty of people that see this on Instagram. There's nobody on Instagram that don't know I'm not married, that I'm married. They know I'm married. And so some of the things that people comment or women comment on my page sometimes ain't cool. A lot of times for me, I've gone, I'll be at work because Ray, you know how I work. I'll be working when I'm not sleeping, and I'll be working, And I'll just go down there and love all the comments. And the next thing I know, I'm in the doghouse because somebody has commented on my page and said how handsome I am. And that's not always cool. You know, the one thing that I wish that people would be more respectful of me as a married man and a father and not do and say some of the things that they do and say on my page.
Well,
Because
sir, we've talked about this,
yeah,
and we've had this conversation,
yes
and
we
you
have.
brought it up, so I'm going to say what I said to you.
Control Alt Delete.
The only thing that you have to do in that sense, the only thing that you can control in that sense is how comfortable people are with saying that to you, right?
Yeah.
And people, you can't make somebody say or not say something, but you can make somebody say or not say something.
Well,
Right.
one of the things that
What I
I feel
mean by that is,
you can't spend your everyday policing people
but wait,
because man,
it's not about policing people,
mhm,
right? It's not about policing people. What I mean by that is, first of all, don't like the comment. That's
well,
first.
I shouldn't say this, but I probably got to start reading them
Yeah,
more.
You
Sometimes
delete.
you
I go
should
through
you
that.
should
I go through
definitely
there and be like, bam,
read
bam,
those
bam, bam, bam,
comments.
bam.
We
But
can delete the
I'm
comment.
trying to stop doing that now. Yeah.
You should definitely read those comments, but it's more on. I'm gonna put it to you this way: if you walk into when you walk into a McDonald's and you walk into uh, a high end steakhouse, you're
Hey,
gonna walk in differently.
You
I
you're
don't
not
walk in
you're not
McDonald's.
walking into
I
McDonald's.
don't walk into McDonald's. Nigga. I
Look,
don't.
look,
But
look.
you understand what I'm saying. If you when you walk into a McDonald's
Thank
versus
you.
walking
Jay.
into a high end, well, no, he goes through the drive through. Anyway,
I
It's
don't. No, I don't eat McDonald's
when
now.
you
Hey,
go to
since DEI, I've not had McDonald's one time.
okay, all right, so
No,
it ain't McDonald's, but it's another fast food place. You understand what I'm saying?
I
You go
do.
to a fast food place
right.
versus a high end steakhouse. You're gonna go differently.
It's different. Like
You
Yes,
walk into a certain cigar lounge where they got loud music, gallons of Jack Daniels, slapping
yeah,
dominoes on the table. You're
yeah.
gonna walk into you're gonna you walk into that place with a certain energy. When you go to a different one,
Walk right back
like the
out.
one that a lot of people don't know exists, where you got to walk through the door, you're not going in there or through the mirror. You ain't going in there with the same energy.
I don't go in there with no energy. I go in there and sit down and enjoy the vibe.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you curate a vibe where people feel it's okay to do certain things, they will. If you don't curate that vibe, people are not going to do that.
That's not true.
And if they do, they will feel so out of place because people you can't stop all of them, but you can corral some of them.
Yeah. But
So if
to
it's
me, that's a lot of
just
work, man.
it's
That's
not a lot of work. It's
well,
not a
you
lot
know
of work.
what? You don't see Denzel Washington on his and I'm using him, but you don't see most stars on their Instagrams or social media checking people. They just don't respond at all.
You don't have to, and
Because they're not managing that.
it's not about checking people, right? It's not about that at all. It's not about checking people. It's more about I'm about to pull this comment up.
Pull it up.
It's more about boundaries and setting a standard. Because those celebrities, they're gonna get those people that are doing all of these things and sending them all of these things, right?
Regardless.
Regardless, that comes with the territory, as we said earlier. It comes
Yes.
with it.
Yes.
But if you create a standard where it's not okay to do these things, then it won't happen as often. Let me say that.
Okay,
It ain't
right.
going.
Yeah, yeah.
all out stop, but it won't happen
So
as
so
often.
So
so
before,
check it out. How do
hold
you
on,
create that standard?
hold
Oh,
on,
go
yeah.
ahead, DJ. Go ahead, DJ.
But here's the thing. What's to say? Because here's the difference. We're talking about celebrities and things like that they understand. You know what I'm saying? They accept some of this backlash, or what I'm saying, uh rhetoric talk that they get. Why shouldn't the normal folk do the same thing?
You're like, why should I spend time out of my day going back and correcting things that or responding or trying to
It's not about that. It's
It's,
not
it's,
no
about
it's
that at
no
all.
no 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 no.
my,
I'm
It
not
really
saying.
is though,
I'm not
because that takes
saying.
a lot of
listen,
effort.
I'm
It
not
listen,
takes a
saying
lot
at
of
all.
effort to do
Wait,
that.
I'm not saying at all that you need to go back and say, "Hey, this ain't cool" to every comment like that, or message somebody and say, "Don't do that." I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you curate an environment,
right.
then most of them will stop. I'm not.
So
All of it ain't
But
gonna
but
stop
but
so
but,
because
spell it
but,
out to me like I'm a fifth grader.
but,
How do you create that environment?
here's
Like
the point. We all have certain degree of professionalism within our page and everything else. Period. So we're all business owners, and we try to treat people with just that. As look, I'm
yeah,
running a business. You know what I'm saying? You're either DMing me or doing X, Y, and Z, and if at the end of the day, like I can't block right off the bat somebody that just jumps in my shit with a negative joint.
right.
Will they get blocked? Fuck yeah. Like, bye. Because here's the thing, I have no time for that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're talking reckless and you don't have an idea of what you're really talking about and what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? You're not one of the 10 that might be in my circle that understands the way the fuck I'm trying to move. You know what I'm saying? You might look at it as on your own opinion scale. I don't give a fuck about that. Because here's the thing. If I sell 100 cigars and I got one person that comes back and said, man, this is trash. Okay, well, guess what? I got 99 other people that said it's great. You, bye. I I don't have that. Look, I don't have that kind of time or patience, truthfully, in the matter. You know what I'm saying? Like you're the 0.2% of my business. And I have to treat. And I'm sorry, I can't. I and we sometimes, and we have to think about that collectively as business owners. We can't please 100%.
Right.
Period.
that's
I
true.
agree.
It's
That's true.
always going to be someone that has something trivial, minute, whatever to say. You got to move the fuck on and
Yeah.
dismay that chaos. Like that's white noise that you don't need to hear.
I was looking at some of the comments over here.
I
I
was
got my
just about to go that way, and
uh
I was just about to expound on that for you.
yeah. So I was gonna. So you saw my comment. I left the D off expound, so I deleted. But I was gonna say with cigar with Lauren. Lauren said, if you resist the devil, he will flee.
I'll tell you
And
that
then she
it's
said, I was about
very
to say
simple.
block, but
It's very
here's
simple. It's
what
very
what.
simple.
Well, let me ask the question. Let me ask the question because it's something that I've had to grapple with. Where
Okay,
I've just gotten to where I just be like,
fuck
whatever
it.
the fuck they put on there, I don't know them. I've never seen these people before, and people put shit on there, and I don't have a social media manager, so you know, a lot of times I just don't even respond. Sometimes I don't even see it, and my wife will see certain things, and she's my wife. And one thing about
So
my wife will kill behind me. So, I get where she coming from. So I not sometimes, but
I mean, all the
99% of the
time.
time I get where she coming from because my wife be like, "Hey, don't fuck with my husband," and it's not an insecurity thing for her. It's just her like, "Don't fuck with my husband." But man, sometimes for me, just being me, I don't sometimes I don't see that shit, and a lot of times it don't register for me. And I'll post certain pictures and I get comments on there you wouldn't believe, and I just be like, "Did this motherfucker really just post this?"
so
Like they
so
really just
check
did
it.
that.
So check
Uh-huh.
this. So definitely, just what she said. If
Yeah, I'm
someone
leaving
is
that.
if someone is just causing trouble with lies, that's devil stuff. A lot of times people will remove themselves if ignored. I was just about to say that.
I've
So
had that. I've
instead
had that.
of instead of acknowledging
Engage.
the comment,
Yep.
engaging the conversation, or any of that, ignore it. And then people and those people who their entire motive is just to cause issue
Something.
will disappear. They'll
I
they'll they won't even ring the bell. They'll jump out the back window of the bus. They
Right.
gone.
I agree.
Now, you do have some who it doesn't matter if you acknowledge it or not, but the thing is, the delete button on comments definitely works.
Yes.
So, you can delete a comment
I've
if
done it
you
plenty of
feel
times.
that
I've done
if
that.
you
I've
feel
done
that
that.
this comment if you feel that this comment uh doesn't
Meet,
resonate
no,
with your
meet,
brand, it doesn't meet the standard that you set,
doesn't meet community guidelines like Instagram says.
it doesn't meet community guidelines, you know what I'm saying? Then definitely they will then delete it.
But
Now,
I've done that.
if you don't
I've
delete it,
personally done that, but I don't
but if
spend
you
all
don't
day.
delete it,
I don't
then what
spend
you
all
do
day
is,
policing comments.
but then you don't have to. I'm not saying that you have to. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is just like Lauren said, because other people will see them looking like a fool. Yes, if you like every comment but that one, they'll see something. If you responding to
And
every
I've done
comment
that.
like
I've
that
done
one,
that. Yeah, I've done that.
they'll eventually they'll back off. You know what I'm saying? Eventually they will disappear. They will stop
Yeah.
commenting. You know, or you can also put people on what is it restriction if you have the time to go through that. That's one thing to do. But if you're not trying to spend no extra time, then you only like the comments that you actually like. Don't just, if somebody puts a comment, don't just like it because it's a comment, because it doesn't matter if you like the comment or not. Let me just, for the social media folks, it doesn't matter if you like the comment or not. The algorithm don't care if you like it. The algorithm really don't care if 1,000 people like it.
Hmm.
But the algorithm cares about comments.
Yep.
However, if you ignore, those people want attention. When people do stuff like that in the comments,
They
they
want
want
that's
attention.
true.
They
That's
they
true.
want it. They want the attention of you to say something to them because they know it's going to cause dissension in your house. It's going to cause some problems in your house. So they
Or,
And
want that.
or
that
And
both.
trips
then
me out. Why do you want dissension in my house? Because you
because
don't have
that's
a
what
realistic fact of getting to me. Like,
because they can't
I
because
be
here's
like,
the thing. Here's the thing. The devil will use people.
yeah.
He will send people to you to mess up, especially when you're good.
Look at Damon's comment. Damon said, charging for access equals respect my boundaries. Real talk. Real
Definitely.
talk. Real talk.
Definitely.
That's real talk, Damon. Demond.
Big Soul said when you argue with a fool, folks can't tell which one is the fool,
Nope.
which is
Exactly.
definitely true. Y'all arguing, nobody knows who the fool is. You know,
Yep.
Lauren said, I resonate with this because as a female cigar smoker, some men have been extremely condescending. She told us that a long time ago when she joined us on the
and
lounge.
and that
I
and
remember her
that's the
saying that.
same. That's the
Yeah.
same. The same. You know, I approach that with the same energy. if you give that if you give negativity energy, it will drain all of it.
Yeah.
It will drain all of your negativity. I mean, all of your energy. Don't give negativity any energy,
Yeah.
because a lot of people just want to be seen by somebody. There are people whose entire motive, they get on, their entire motive for doing things is just to cause issue, to cause a problem, so that
Yeah.
they can have something to look at, because people love drama. So if you don't play into that and you move on and ignore it, it will go away.
Say, man, the number one tentacle just joined us.
I see
Man,
him.
what's up, tentacle? And Mimi is in the building. Mimi is in the building. Look, why
Look,
don't
All in
you,
the
look,
comments.
and we
why
say
don't, why don't,
number
why
one
don't you and
fucker,
Daniel come on? Number one tentacle.
number one fucker.
Number one fucker and number one tentacle is in the building.
Yeah, y'all come on in here for
Y'all come on, man. Y'all come on for this
while,
last couple of
while
minutes
we
and do
get close to
what-
ashes and glasses.
Yeah, we getting close to it, but this is some great
But I
conversation.
think that's another thing that's another thing that is a hidden cost of success. You know
What's
what I'm
that?
saying?
What's
I
that?
think that's another thing that's a hidden cost of success. Just
What
people believing that they have this unbridled access to you.
You know
But
what?
that, but,
So
That is so true, Ray.
but
That
that's
is
yeah.
so true.
but
It
that's
really is.
but see, that's the concept when we have followers and everything else. And let's not mistaken. It might not be, saying, your true people that are behind you. It might be secondhand, third-hand people that think they have the access, because
Right.
the people truly behind you are posting you, they're doing X, Y, and Z. So their people see that shit and they be like, here you go again.
Right.
And so here's the thing. You gotta
What you
think
guys
about
want? What y'all want?
nothing. We don't want nothing.
Okay.
What's up,
You gotta treat some of these people with a certain bit of understanding, that to be like, you know what, fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with you. If you're not promoting, buying into my business or anything else, what the fuck is your relevance to being on my page?
Right.
To
What
be
the
to
fuck
be
is your
honest, like,
relevance
and you're
to
right,
even
because
talk?
there are, so to the comment that was said earlier by Cigars and Love.
Love
Um,
talk.
uh,
Lauren.
yes, sorry, I didn't know her name. I just came across her today, and I followed her. So,
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop.
I did want to say, like, there are some times when responding is necessary, like when somebody's just plain disgusting or whatever. Because I mean, I know for, in my DMs, there's some pretty gross shit. Most
Yeah.
of the time, I'll just say, "Is this related to Black Star Line?" And if it's not, then I'm like, "All right, well, that's the only reason I'm online."
Control Alt
So,
Delete.
But see, that's setting those boundaries and standards,
right,
Right.
right? But
That's
also there's also a delete button in the DM.
100%. I
And if
absolutely,
you
I
and
delete a lot of shit.
I use it.
a
I
lot
use
of
it all the
times,
time. Shit, I use it all the time.
but a lot of times, giving that energy is what they want.
Yeah,
right. Yes.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
they don't use the term much anymore, but they're called trolls.
Yep.
And what
Yeah.
they want
Yeah.
is attention and energy. All they're doing is seeking attention so that they can drain your energy. So if you don't give them any of it, any attention or energy, they have no access. And they tend to move on to somebody else that they control. Right?
Mm.
So if you respond to somebody, then you can find yourself stuck in a cycle of responding to this person
You don't have to.
every
You can
time they
also
send
block
you a
button works
detem.
too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
Block
what I'm
button
And,
works
saying.
and
So
you know what? You know what? I got a whole lot of them that are blocked. I got a whole lot of them that are restricted. I
Like
got
like I
I
said,
got
like
a
this one of those
lot.
situations where if you respond and it's like, you know, I'm letting you know that this is inappropriate, and then if you come with some other shit, like other than an apology,
Blip, you out. You
But
out.
see, but see, just that energy is enough.
Yeah, it is.
sometimes
As
you got
Lauren
fucking
said
time
earlier,
too.
as
Like
Lauren
for
said
real.
earlier, as Lauren said earlier, if you resist the devil, he will flee. So
Hey, Daniel
so
says
just
something though.
just do not give it the energy, and
Right.
then it if somebody DMs you,
It's not
hey,
there.
delete it and move on. They probably won't do it again. And
But you
if
know
they
the
do, delete it and move on.
No,
but
Do
a
that's
lot
not
of
do
this
no,
not
that's a
let
block
that
that's perfect.
situation.
That's
don't
perfect
yeah
world.
block it, but don't give it
Yeah,
the energy. Don't give it the time or the energy.
Listen,
Right.
that's
everybody
perfect. That's
everybody
perfect.
handles shit
That's
differently, and that's
hold on.
you
Yeah, because
know,
that's perfect world shit. Because
right.
let's keep it a buck, man. There are messages and comments that I may not see for 4 or 5 days. You know, I'll make a post sometimes, man. I'll have 42 messages in my inbox that I just might not look at because when I did my post the next day, I tagged 45 of y'all. So it pushed all that shit down to the bottom. And I might be sitting here, I might have did that on Tuesday. And on Saturday, I'm looking through my inbox and be like, where the fuck did this come from? You know, it's just one of those things.
And then
Sometimes it can be,
if you open it up and respond to it, you're giving it attention and energy.
but
And that's
I
all I'm
don't.
saying.
That's no, but that's the point. Like I'm doing it personal. Like this a
Everything
personal
don't need a
conversation for me.
response.
You're
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
right.
saying.
You're right,
but
but
that
not
no,
everybody,
but
but not
sometimes
everyone's built
everybody.
that way either.
That's right.
Because
Everybody
like
doesn't.
and Rich, just like you said, Chevalier, that's a perfect world situation because
Right.
honestly, there are times, like for example, there was somebody who literally was like, I want to call you right now. No.
I
The
remember.
fuck? I
I
want to talk
remember.
to you. Like, no, I want to no.
And
And then
what
after
did you
that
do?
response and said, that's disrespectful. I don't know you. Now I'm blocking you. But that I needed to respond to you and say, absolutely the fuck not. I don't know you.
Or you
Yeah,
could have just blocked them and not said a
I
word.
could
And
have,
then
but
when
yeah,
they
but
try to
sometimes
call you, it's gone.
but
They can't do
sometimes
it.
you find yourself, man. Some of those situations really make you respond. I had this one lady for a while on my Facebook and Instagram. I would post something and she would put some crazy comment about beards on there. And at first I never even paid attention to the shit. Like I'd be like, I'd look at it, I wouldn't like it or nothing. I just keep on going, you know, because people write stuff. But then she escalated. And after a while, you know, and a lot of times I would see her comments 3 or 4 days later. So they would be on there for 3 or 4 days. And then one day I went on there and I blocked her off my Facebook because I think she was just following because she wasn't a friend, but I blocked her off my Facebook, and then I blocked her. She was on my Instagram too. I started being intentional, going looking for her name, and I was like, "Shit, this motherfucker didn't put this shit on my
because
Instagram three or four
even if we're
times."
gonna sit there and talk about something, that's giving it attention too, because you have to go through the shit just to find the person to block the person.
Right?
So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's really one of
That's a
those
whole lot of
situations,
work. That's a
right?
lot of work to try to do to manage that. And one day I was looking. I looked at. I went on. I went on.
That's
I
why
went
shit's
on.
private.
Yeah, I just, you know, because I don't want to make my page private because people follow and things like that, and I'm growing my page. But man, sometimes, man,
Nope.
it is really difficult, and then I have to have a conversation, you know, sometimes with my wife because my wife will see some shit that I might not have seen yet.
Exactly,
She
exactly.
might
That's
see it
And,
three
exactly what I
days
was trying to say,
later
Lauren.
that I still ain't seen yet,
right.
and I'll be like,
And,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
and the crazy
You know?
part that we talk about all of this is my page is private. But you know what? You pop my page up, guess what? You can still get
That
to the
part,
link.
fucking
You,
Daniel.
you can still get to the link. You can still buy the cigars, but I don't need to talk to you.
Yeah, you
I
know,
don't need your messages. I don't need your responses. I don't need none of that shit. Block, control, alt, delete. Move the fuck on. Like for real, for real. If you got some detrimental shit to say, I don't care. Don't want to hear it. Move the fuck on. I don't know what the fuck you got going on in your life that is making you think that
A
either
lot of people have time for that, Daniel.
you need the time to comment on anything on my page, but move the fuck on. I
Oh
got
yeah,
other shit to do.
yeah. And see, that's what a lot of people. There are some people that think this is everything. As
Right.
much as I do on a daily basis, it's not my everything. So a lot
No,
of times, man, you guys know, all of y'all know, we
hey, look,
all know
what?
each other
No,
personally. I'll sit there and do my post, and I might not look back at that motherfucker till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I don't know
True.
what somebody put on there, and there'd be 10 people that had went in there and responded or put the eyeballs on there, and I'd be like, man, I ain't seen this shit.
man,
You
look,
know?
look.
That's true.
That's what happens when you fucking tag
But
45
it's but
people.
it's not
Yeah.
just that. It's also, and I think we've had this conversation before, is that
Yeah, we have.
it's called, it's access. People think that just because you put yourself out there that they have access to you at
Right.
whatever level. And
Yeah, my wife says that
that's
all
not
the time.
fucking true.
That's not
That's
true.
not true. Like,
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
being
only a portion of all of our lives. It's not our
right.
whole entire lives. But people think
It's a snap.
because
It's a
you
snapshot.
put,
It's a
right,
snippet.
people think because you put even that little snippet out. That's one of the reasons, like, I don't really post a lot on my actual page anymore, because I get, if I post something, I get all this stuff, and I'm like, it's just, sometimes it's just not worth it.
But you know what, Mimi? I'm calling you Mimi. Mimi, you gotta dial back your sexy son because sometimes your sexy be. I remember we was at PCA and some dude walked up to me. I was over there by Black Star Line, and this dude walked up to me and said, "Hey, do you know her?" I was like, "I ain't never met her before," because I already knew it was creepy. Like right when I remember when I came over there with you and Eric on Sunday, I was over there right before I walked over there. This dude walked up to me and said, "Hey, did you know that girl over there?" I was like, "What girl?" He said, "The cute one, Mimi." And I was like, I've never met her. I'm gonna go introduce myself
You're
right now,
ridiculous.
dude. You should do the same." And he was like, "No way." He's a little Spanish dude. I was like, well, okay. But that's the kind of weird stuff that we deal with
Right.
Yeah.
here. And even at PCA, and I'll take it back to just, I was over at Black Star Line about an hour sitting on the couch. Me and Eric was talking, and then me, and Cincy were doing our thing, Sarah. And I probably had, during that time, because they have like the concession booth with the food and
Right
everything is
there,
right
yeah.
behind us. Man, I bet you at least 20 people walked up on me saying, "Hey, Chevalier." I didn't know who the fuck they was. And every one of them, I was sitting there going, "Hey,
But
how you doing?"
that's part of this. That's
That's
Yep.
part
exactly
of
what
it.
it is.
That's part. That's where I'm
But
going. That's part of
again,
it.
that speaks to the access. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yep.
again, like, there are people that, obviously, there are people that I have conversations with outside of Instagram, or there are people even that have been very respectful in my DMs, like asking questions about what's going on with Black Star Line, stuff like that. And I have no problem doing that kind of stuff. I really don't, because that's just part of what we do. But it's when the stuff gets really disrespectful that it's just like, okay.
What is Daniel talking about? Chevalier did that to me. Hey, you. What is that? Hey, what?
Uh,
No, I didn't.
That's because he goofy, and he
He
gonna say
goofy as
something
hell.
crazy.
The
But
genticle is always talking in the
the
background.
genticle has always got something to say. But
Listen,
but
Daniel's
that
funny as
that
fuck. I don't care
that
what
goes a
Yes,
anybody
he
lot.
says.
It
is.
does
Yes, he
go a
is.
lot back to
Daniel's funny as fuck.
access. When
Yeah.
people feel that they have this unbridled access to you,
Yeah,
then they feel
yeah.
like they can say and do anything.
Right.
Um, but I also think that when you give attention and energy to these people who are doing things that you feel they shouldn't be doing on your page, when you give them that attention and energy, they're going to continue to do it.
Yep.
I
So when you
agree.
say give them that attention and energy, what do you mean?
When you
Like,
Because
go on,
respond
when you like the comment,
oh, okay, okay.
when you
when
when
you
you go
interact with
through
any of that
and
stuff.
you like the comment, or you respond to the comment, or you respond to the DM, or then they feel like, okay, I can say whatever I want now. I have access to this person now. If you get a DM and you look at it and you like, that ain't I don't want that ain't got nothing to do with me, and you delete it, it's gone. and you block them,
I mean, it's gone
they
on your
can't
side. It's not
respond.
gone on theirs.
Nope.
But
So
it's
it's
not
like,
going on
yeah,
theirs. But
yeah.
if you block them, they can't. They
right.
can no longer say
I
anything.
mean, there's a lot of people
However,
that
if
talk
you
to
look at
themselves
it,
in DMs too. So
and
But you know
those
what
people,
though,
you
right?
go ahead and block those crazy people because if they just constantly talking to themselves in the DM, just go on and block them. If
But you know
somebody
what
is
though,
messy, if
man?
somebody puts a comment on there and you like everything but they comment, it's gonna take a little time for them to realize you like everything on there. Or
Right.
you can just block them.
well, I
But you know
Or
what?
guarantee
I
that
hear
they're
you.
not just
All of that
commenting on
sounds
your
good.
stuff. They're
Yeah,
commenting on several people's things in the
right,
hopes of a
right,
response or
right.
something. It's
exactly,
not
they're
just you.
commenting in the hopes of a response. If you don't give them that response, then you're not one of the people that they're gonna look to comment on. But if you're one of the people that give them a response, oh, they're gonna spend all day going back and forth with you in them comments.
And that's cool. Like
All
this is
day.
what happens
But
on
If
but
here.
here's
if
my
you
thing
see
with
a
that.
comment and you ignore it, or you see a comment and you feel like it's inappropriate, if you want to
Move
say it
on.
right there, that's the response. In the reply, this is
But but
inappropriate.
but you know
Or
what though?
you
You know
block
what
them.
though? Ray, all of
But we
that
don't
is that
but we
all
don't want to
sounds
block
great.
we don't want to block people on social media because we lose followers.
No, it has nothing to do with that for me. I don't give a fuck if I lose them or not. Here's the thing for me. A lot of times, man, I flat out as don't see it. And
I
and
get
so
that. I
yeah,
understand that.
and so for me, I really don't give a shit. Like when you look at some of the people that have 242,000 followers, you know,
They
that,
don't see all the
no,
comments.
but
But
check it
you ain't
out.
got
They don't
242,000 followers.
Well,
Yet.
but you know what? I got 5,000. I don't even see them a
This
lot
is
of
what I'm
times,
saying.
man. That's the
So you
thing. Like
but this is what
it's
I'm
it,
saying.
but
I
it's too
understand
much
that.
work. It's too much work.
It's not too much work because
It
every
is.
time somebody comments, it pops up on your phone.
But I don't know. I'm not looking at my phone.
So don't
And
so what you need to
turn
so
your
then if that's the
notifications off.
case,
I turned my shit off a long
yeah,
time ago.
turn them off. Or if the notification pops up, see what the comment is before you like it. Or
Eugenio Frazier said, "Have a block party."
do that. Do that. Do that.
Like, block them, block them, block them, block
Have
them.
a
Just
block
go on and
party.
If
because
Blah,
what
anybody
it
blah,
blocks
boils
blah.
down
me,
to,
Block,
what it
block,
boils
block
down
a
to
flame.
is controlling access to you and setting boundaries.
right?
If you don't set boundaries and you don't control the access to you, people will think that they have unbridled access to you. They think that they
But
can say whatever they want and they're
what my
unguarded
point
and they're
is,
scared.
what that takes more of your time to do that than it does to
What
just
I'm
say
Listen,
yeah.
telling
like
you, what
It
I'm
takes
telling you is
more of
it
your
does not.
time.
You're not
It
gonna
does.
walk
all of us,
into
you guys are gonna
you're
agree to
not
disagree.
gonna
That's just
walk
what the fuck it
into
is. It's
a
agreeing to
high
Yeah.
disagree
end cigar.
situation.
You're not, but what I'm saying is you're
Everybody
not
handles
gonna
their
walk.
shit differently.
What's the name of that cigar lounge you got to walk through the mirror to get to?
You got to walk through the where?
The mirror through the wall.
The mirror.
Which one?
You
There's
know what
two
I'm
of them.
What are you
talking about.
talking about?
You
I
talking
just
about?
The one
No, he
that you
talking
went
to
to
me.
with Carlito and them.
Oh, the Mexican. It's a restaurant,
You're
but
not
with
gonna
a line.
walk into there with the same energy that you walk into Cigars International with.
No.
I don't.
no.
I don't go to cigar.
Because but you understand what I'm saying.
There's
Yeah, I do.
Because
different
they've
They
levels.
do.
curated a vibe. You curate that vibe for yourself. And that don't mean that you have to spend any more energy doing anything. Just curate that vibe for yourself. Don't give
Well,
energy to those things. And that don't take
well,
no more energy. Not giving energy to something takes no more energy. Just
I
don't give
think
it
you miss.
energy.
I think you missing what I'm saying though. For
No, he's
me,
not missing what you're saying. It's just that you guys don't. You're not going to agree on what the actual
yeah.
outcome is. That's all it
I
Right.
is.
just for
Like,
me,
You're gonna agree to disagree.
yeah,
yeah.
you got to agree to
If I
disagree on it.
catch something, if where I'm going, if I catch something, I'll delete and block it. But sometimes, man, a lot of times, I
Ooh,
just don't see that
dang.
shit.
And if it's a
Okay.
quarantine, 100%. That's what I'm
I
saying.
agree.
Like
I agree,
100%.
baby. That's why I love you because you're so
110%.
intuitive about shit like that. But sometimes I just don't,
She got
man.
the
In the
you
course
know,
of my day, in the course of my day,
I'm
I'm not
so
sitting
fucking
there all
done.
day
Daniel.
looking at goddamn. I ain't looking at that bullshit all day. Chevalier
Daniel
walk
ain't shit. I swear to God,
like a 60-year-old lesbian.
bruh.
Yo, facts. Facts. Hey, look,
A
facts.
Yeah,
60-year-old
keep
lesbian.
that one up for a minute because that's
Keep
funny.
that up. Yeah, just keep it because that might be true. That might be true. I don't know.
Now I know
Wait,
y'all were
hey,
talking
hey, wait,
about
say,
something
I
completely
don't give a
different
fuck.
earlier.
I don't give
Like,
a fuck.
Hey, look,
Oh,
I don't
what
give
shit.
was the
a
actual
fuck.
topic tonight?
Oh, we done. It started off being about the power of reinvention, which this kind of rolls off into.
This
So
rolls into it.
this
This
rolls
I
right
rolls
mean,
into
into it.
that.
I get that. So
Yeah.
I was on a little bit earlier, and I did hear some stuff, and I was like, okay.
Oh my
Um,
God, you guys
look,
are the most.
But
look. My
Hey,
my
y'all
thing is
crazy,
yes,
man. Daniel,
reinvention is absolutely, whatever. But there are certain situations that you can't fucking come back from. So
Right.
hey, so can I put something out there real quick? Because I mean, we're a little past time on our show, but
please,
I wanna recognize Mimi for her
for what?
promotion with Black
Oh,
Star Line. She is like the head motherfucker, the head motherfucker next to the head motherfucker in charge. Like right now,
I don't know about that, but
she
don't.
is doing things, man. And what is the title that you have now?
I am I do sales for California, Arizona, and Washington.
No, but that's not what the title is.
I'm a
Is
sales
it
rep.
like regional sales rep?
No, it's a sales rep. Like you gotta
No,
relax,
no, it's
bro.
got more than that on
Like
it. If I go back through
there
the
is no
look,
spin on
no,
anything. It's a sales rep,
I'll
bro. Like
I'll call
relax.
Eric and ask him. They gave you like a title, like you was like the
Yeah,
head sales rep.
it's sales rep. Like
He didn't
that's what
say
it
just
is.
sales rep.
That's what it says
Yeah,
on my that's what
yeah,
it says on my card.
that ain't what he said when he put it out there. He had something sales rep, like regional sales rep, like you were the bomb.com.
We all know
She's a
Chevalier can't read. It might have
Right.
said new sales rep.
Thank you, Daniel.
It might have
Danny
said
said
our
she
new
got that
sales rep.
question.
That's what it
No, it didn't
fucking
say
said.
it
That's what
did
it
not
said.
say our new sales rep. It did not,
Listen,
because you've
the
been a
press
sales
release
rep.
said promoted to sales rep. That's what it fucking said.
No, it said promoted to something sales rep, like
You
regional.
gotta relax.
It probably said our new sales rep,
No,
meaning
she been a bro. I know you want to crack on me,
I
but
was technically a
she
brand
been a
ambassador
sales
up
rep.
until now. So
so it's
She like
definitely a promotion.
she
yeah,
the head motherfucking sales rep.
I'm not, but okay. I still appreciate it though.
Nah,
On that note,
but I
Chevalier
want
missed
us to
something.
recognize you. I
We
just
Oh,
wanted us to
thanks.
recognize our sis. That's all.
congratulations.
Thanks,
Congratulations.
thanks, fuckers.
On that note, we're gonna take a break and we'll be right back with Ashes and
Is it this
Glasses.
one?
Yeah.
Perfect.
No.
Right. Yeah.
And I will make that focus stop for
It gave me 2 feet.
I can't smoke in the house, but I can smoke in the
The fabric bow ties, the wooden bow tie.
He was, I want to say,
Them stuff down. Because if you don't,
what if we
I,
don't want to subscribe today?
it don't matter. You got to. I was
Oh,
gonna play the other one, but I deleted it off of here, so I didn't play it by accident. I was
hold
gonna do
on.
that one just for you, but I don't have it no more.
Hold on. Let me fucking so fucking ridiculous.
Hey,
Right.
BB,
Shut up. That commercial was fire. I don't care what you say.
Was it?
yeah,
Oh, hey.
I'm gonna go put it back on here just because of that. Anyway, it's time for Ashes and Glasses. So this is Ashes and Glasses. This is the way that we like to end the show. Everybody on screen will give a toast. Will give a toast. If you got a toast, put it in the comments. We'll bring it to the screen and read it live. Y'all get y'all toast in early so we don't be
I don't have one.
done and drunk. So it
Done
don't
and
matter.
drunk.
It don't matter. You're on the screen. You got to
Drink
have a
up,
toast.
motherfuckers. There you go. There's mine.
Done and drunk.
Well, we ain't there yet. So we're
We
gonna
asked
do
you
it in a
that.
minute. We're
So
gonna do it in
Okay.
just a minute. You ready?
reserve that, Mimi-san.
Yeah, reserve that. So it's time for ashes and
I already
glasses.
said it at this point, so
So now, Mimi, you're first.
drink
Miranda.
up, bitches.
Hey,
What toast? Then drink up, bitches. There it
You
is.
know what? I should
Cheers.
say fuckers. Drink up, fuckers.
Drink up,
Drink
fucker.
up, buggers, right?
Since
Mount
I am the number
Olympus.
one fucker.
Hey,
You're the
man,
number one.
look.
Numero uno.
Hey man, shout out to personal growth. And whatever you see that as, make sure you follow that 100%, and bring those people aboard with you. That's it.
Cheers.
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 No
Chevalier?
wine. No wine.
Nope.
Why? No wine? Mimi ain't got no wine today.
What?
That's a historic failure.
No, she got some wine down there.
It's just
No,
dry
I sure
Thursday.
don't.
It's
It's water.
just dry Thursday. She'll be all
Drinking
right
water?
tomorrow.
I'm drinking water.
She'll be back killing a ball and a half tomorrow. Chevalier, you're up.
Let me sell you $25 so you get you a bottle of wine. I don't know what's going on out there.
No. Not
Well, right
selling.
on.
Get the fuck out of here. I mean, you can send me the money, but I'm not gonna buy it.
Oh,
I'm gonna pass. Stick with that distilled water. It looks good on you. Say, here's a toast to everybody that joined us tonight. Here's a toast to our topic. Here's a toast to Mimi on her accomplishments. And finally to Mykesha Watson for graduating. What did she graduate,
Yes,
Ray?
congratulations.
Summa
sis.
cum laude
Summa cum laude from
from
college.
Paul Quinn College.
Yes. So
Go ahead,
cheers
sis.
to
We love
everybody.
that.
There you go.
cheers.
Cheers.
We got one from Daniel. Daniel says, "Toast to you all. Your niece is waving at y'all. I mean niece.
Your niece.
He said niece, but
Okay. Yeah.
so we're gonna
Spelling is hard
toast
sometimes.
to her.
Toast to the little boo, little Daniel. Well, her name is little Danny.
Stop.
Mac ain't here. Our regional champion for ashes and glasses. He ain't here.
Well, is
Have
it
you ever-
regional? Because it could just be rep too.
Yeah,
I don't
No,
know.
no, no.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That regional just rap on me.
I don't
It
know.
could be. Yeah, you never know. Especially with Chevalier is the one reading.
Right. Exactly.
Well, no, look, I'm gonna go back and find that post, but
Go
that's
right
neither
ahead.
here
we
nor there.
all know the word. The word was probably new.
It was. But I mean, 100% was. But here we
Raymond, you know what?
are. Shit, I'll send you the post.
What you got to say? What?
I
do
ain't
you
got nothing
have?
to say. I'm
What you
thinking
got
about
to say?
one. I'm thinking about one of Mac's toast. Here's a toast from Mac. As we're moving through the streets of life, watch those curves. They turn on you. Cheers.
Oh.
That's a Mac toast.
That's a Mac toast.
That's
That's
a
all
Mac
you were
toast.
thinking about. What else you had to say? You was about to say something to Mimi.
No,
What you about to say?
nothing.
There you go.
Nothing. I'm letting it go.
There you go.
You
As
better
you
let
should.
it go. You better let it go.
I think you
Whatever,
better
girl.
let it go.
Bibi be trying to sing over there. She got some shit going on.
Well, my toast goes to my wife, Mykesha Watson, for graduating summa cum laude.
Mm.
We love it. Congrats.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yep.
A major moment.
I second that to my daughter.
Yeah, man. And to Mount Olympus' daughter for graduating summa cum laude as well.
Yes.
We got some smart folks. So cheers to y'all.
Cheers.
Cheers to Black excellence.
I got one more for my wife.
What you got?
Cheers to my wife
for bringing them drinks.
Becoming besides that, I
Is
was
that a
gonna touch
bramble?
on that too. No, she made a new margarita today.
Thank God I
That
don't live out there.
yeah, you couldn't handle the bramble.
If it was them brambles, Soraya be laying on the ground right now
Right,
trying to do
right.
his
Like
trying to
this.
do his
Yeah,
he be
been
on the
with my
ground.
shirt.
Sleep in the
Yeah, been with
chair,
my shirt over
snoring.
my head with
He be
them
way
there,
on the
bro.
ground. I wanna give a
Look,
toast.
First of all, you
I'm
can't
all
get
I
that
ever.
fucking tight
Here's
ass
to
shirt over your
Jesus.
head. Fuck out of here. You
Here's
gotta get cut out of that shit.
no, no, no. Look,
No.
fuck you, man. Like
Go.
this, you know what? To my
Cheers,
wife
cheers to
for,
Felicia for
for her
cutting
new.
Chevalier out of his jeans every night.
Right. Exactly. The jeans bill
Cheers.
is high in the household, in the Neal household. Okay.
You know what? Fuck y'all.
Just cut it on the seam, Fee.
Cheers,
You can just
cheers,
sew it back up tomorrow.
cheers to fuck y'all. Cheers.
Go and give your toast, man. Give your toast.
No, man, I wanna toast to my wife, man, for all the accomplishments she's made over the last couple of months. Her becoming a VP for her
Yes,
company.
ma'am.
Cheers to black excellence and women's excellence. I'm proud of you, baby. Cheers.
Cheers.
Right on.
I ain't got nothing left.
You ain't got nothing
Nope.
left.
Nope.
You all done. You ain't got nothing
Nope.
else. Nothing left to
Nope.
say.
I ain't got nothing left.
You sure you ain't got nothing left to say?
Nope.
Listen, because you know he liked to talk. Boop, boop, boop,
I know. We ain't had a you about to cry moment or nothing
Nope.
tonight.
First of all, I saw that shit earlier today. Fuck out of here. He almost. I gotta get something off my chest.
Yeah, he was about to cry earlier.
Yeah, well,
Because I was talking about the
hey,
dude that the
hey,
police
we
that got
gonna
acquitted.
talk about
That
that
wasn't
later
gonna
too,
make me cry.
Chevalier. We gonna talk
Huh?
about that later too, Chevalier. But that's fine. Keep going. Let's go.
Oh, you calling me Chevalier today?
You sure as it's fucking Yule today, so
Oh wow.
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 Wow. Wow. Let me take my hat off for that one. Wow.
Oh God, what? It got so
Yeah,
bright
yeah.
in
Put
here,
the
like
hat back on.
shocking.
Put the
God
hat back on.
damn.
Put the hat back on.
It's like the
That light,
sunshine came
Wait,
back
that
out.
light
God
was beaming.
they say sun is shining.
damn. Right.
I hate y'all.
Oh wait, we got a toast in the comments. We got a toast in the
Shit.
comments.
All right.
From my wife, she says, cheers to great friends that have turned into family.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I don't know why my hearts aren't working, but yeah.
Lauren, you got a toast for us? You been all up in the comments tonight. You got a toast for us? We ain't mean. You got a toast?
She said, dang, y'all mean.
Dang, y'all mean.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Ain't nobody mean but Chevalier when he getting cut out of his jeans at the end of the night.
Damn.
Y'all have a good night.